I don't really have a cheers for this one, so we'll give a little
cheers.
Flag. Yeah,
get it rolling.
So Luke, what is your book of the year?
I'm back.
He's back here again.
My book of the year. Interesting. It's not this one that I brought.
You can do your top three of the. That was the initial idea.
So I'm gonna say The Big Short.
Is that where you three or one?
Oh Lord. Okay, if we're gonna put these in order. All right, hold on.
I can do any order. I can give it to you.
So I'm gonna do Elon Musk by, I think.
Is it like Simon something?
Not that one. That's that. And what's that guy's name? Walter Simons or Isaac Simons? He does the Steve Jobs.
Yeah, Steve Jobs.
That dude.
Somewhere
Walter Isaacson. There we go.
Walter Isaacson.
It's not by him. It's by, I think the name is Ashley LaVance or Ashley Vance.
We'll check in the post credits and get her on.
I highly recommend it just because I think it provides, like, obviously nowadays with Elon Musk, he has become a bit of a controversial individual, you know, and I think that reading that gives a bit more perspective in terms of like his life and his goals and his aspirations. I think nowadays it's just like, oh, he's trying to make as much money and be in control as much as he can, but I think he's really more of a curious dude about mankind and
trying to advance and better
like the whole thing with SpaceX. I think it's a very, very interesting thing about how he's, you know, making, I'm not saying he's making space travel affordable, like we're going to be able to hop on the rocket tomorrow and go to space. First of all, I wouldn't do that, but second of all, he just did it to the point where the government doesn't have to spend, you know, billions of dollars with NASA, and he can do it for a lot cheaper. So I think that's very good.
Yeah.
The Big Short, I can't remember that author's name either. That's not ideal. Do you have it in here, Dula?
Big Short, I don't have. It's on my. Do I have it over there?
It's on your list somewhere.
Is it Michael? I have it over there. Is it Michael?
Yep, Michael Lewis.
Yeah.
That's that.
I think
it's a good book too, because, and it's one of my favorites just because, again, I think it provides some perspective into what happened in 2008 and like the great financial crisis. Obviously, you know, a lot of people have seen the movie now that's got.
How similar is the
movie and the book?
Yeah, I was kind of curious about that.
They are similar in the sense that they talk about the same information, but the movie portrays it in a much more movie fashion. So like, it's far more entertaining, and you know, they try and break it down, I guess, in a broader sense to where, like, you know, the general audience would know what they're talking about
happening.
In comparison to, I think the book's maybe a tiny bit
more like technical.
Yeah, you know, and
so it adds kind of just a little bit more like detail to what's going on,
and humor too. You know, with like the actors and how they describe and explain the different type of instruments in the financial world that kind of led to the financial crisis. I think it's pretty funny. So that's probably another one. And then I think third, to round it out. Hold on here.
So pull back on the memory. Really think
I do, because there's a lot of good ones, and I've reread a couple this year just to like refresh my memory. I think The Power of Habit by, I want to say the guy's name is Michael Duhigg. Do you have that one too?
Yeah, that's also over there somewhere. It might be on the corner. Yeah, it's right around the corner. I can't. Yeah. I think it is Michael Duhigg though. Or is The Power of the Habit the one with the yellow?
Oh, there it is. Yeah,
there it is.
Charles Duhigg. My bad. Charles.
Sorry to all the authors out there that are catching some strays right now.
Butchered them all. Just butchered them all.
You got the title. Names.
Yeah.
Names second. You know, we'll get there.
Okay. But that one I think is one of the possibly the best self-help book I've ever read, just because I feel like and you and I have had this discussion prior, but I feel like with self-help books, a lot of times it's like you start reading and it's like, here's steps 1 through 5 on how to improve your life, and it just kind of regurgitates stuff every single chapter. It's like, oh, you want to be more disciplined, then like, make sure you wake up when your alarm clock goes off. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good start. Thank you. I didn't think of that. The thing I liked about The Power of Habit a lot, and one reason why I feel like I can remember it more, obviously it talks about, how having the right habits can, benefit your life so much. But the thing I liked about it the most is each chapter has a real world example and story that I guess Charles went out and, found or interviewed people or whatever. And so it's like, oh man, this is, real implications. I can implement it, into my life in the same manner. And so I think one of the examples that stuck out to me in that book was there was like a hospital system somewhere that had I don't know if the term would be a higher malpractice rate. It had like more...
And more, let's just say not successful.
Surgeries, yes. Yeah, not successful is a good term, yeah. And so he kind of went in to describe how it was, and what it was is just the fact that the doctors did not have, or the surgeons did not have a good pre-surgery routine, and then that led them to, not perform well, and then also cause more stress on all the other doctors and nurses that are in the operating room. And then it like led to this whole, breakdown across the whole hospital. So it was talking about just implementing the right...
Having a pre-checklist of...
The right cues. Yeah. And continuing that habit each time you have a surgery, then it makes it run a lot smoother. So, and how once they did implement it, the amount of, failed or unsuccessful surgeries went down drastically. So I was like, I feel like that is what a self-help book should be. It should be, here's what you should do. Here's probably what's causing your current problem. But, this is a real world implication that we have seen that helps. Those are probably my 3.
I agree with that. I just kind of generally stand on that. The self-help books are really
repetitive, man.
It's really repetitive. It's also like, the wording's really centered around like to make you feel good almost.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like it's very centered like, oh, after reading this, my life's going to be like changed.
Yeah,
and there's not really like.
I mean, it's going to be changed if you make a change.
If
like
you make a change,
but just reading it, and
I think actually providing something that's like having the real world example there is helpful in a sense. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's one of my favorite.
I just think that, and looking at the library here, I think that
take a stroll down memory lane.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that Atomic Habits is the book about habits that like gets the hype, but I've read it too, and I just don't think it's. I don't think it's that good.
Atomic Habits, the part that.
I just felt like it was repetitive. It was like every chapter was like, here's 5 steps, here's what you should do. And I
think a lot of these books could be like 50 pages. Atomic Habits' key idea of just doing one push-up every day instead of doing, or just for example, but like 50 push-ups one time for the month.
Right.
It's a much better way because after you do one push-up for, let's say, a week, that next week, all right, you might try to do a set of 10.
Yeah.
You might do like whatever. I think that idea of actually starting with like, don't go try to climb Everest first.
Yeah.
Like, let's just go on a hike. I think that's a good way of like, I'm not going to change myself overnight. So framing it like that, but for like 250 pages, it's pretty repetitive at the end. I mean, like, you're not
struggling to get there.
I agree. What's another one that I've read? The one that let's see, there's one that I really didn't like that I can't think of. It might still be on my shelf because I never finished it, which is pretty impressive. If it's still on the shelf and I started it and didn't finish it, it's pretty bad. I gotta be honest. Is it the 7 Habits of Millionaires or Billionaires?
7 Habits of like highly effective people or whatever. Yeah, something like that.
I hate that book. Couldn't stand it.
That's fair.
But that was one of those books where it was like, oh, this really...
It could be shortened. I read that book all the way through, but I agree with you. It's like, okay, here we go. Here's the 7 habits.
Well, I got the habit 1, and it was like 50 pages, and I was like...
There was no way you could talk about
mother of like, how am I going to... It's like, I can't do this.
I understand that. I don't disagree.
Also, his writing style, I just don't enjoy. It's just like so dull. So to me, it's like, there's just too many things that I was like, this is not... There's a lot of other things I could read, but yeah.
Reading is an interesting thing because I think, like, obviously you and I have both figured out that you almost, like, if it's not a good book, you need to know when to stop. But at the same time, you've bought it, so you feel like, you feel like you've invested in it. And you're like, man, I really don't want to throw this away. Like, I just got to get through it just so I can be done with it and say I didn't waste my money. And sometimes that's just not the best. Best bet.
I'll say it's pretty. I try my best to avoid. I've started now skim things really fast. I've actually learned to like, I don't know, learned or started whatever to like skim things, be able to skim from being at home to read so many textbooks now.
Yeah.
To where like, I just won't really read it, but I'll just like, all right, let's
kind of just run through it.
Fastly, can I run through this? But let's jump to what you have here because I'm interested about.
Oh yeah,
when I saw you
that's another classic. This is probably could be top 3 as well.
We'll put it on there.
Honorable mention.
Yeah, we'll give it the.
It would sneak in. Maybe the strength of schedule isn't.
There's
strength of record
there. Yeah.
But yeah, the almanac of I say naval. I think it's actually pronounced navel, but
whatever.
Naval Ravikant.
Potato there.
It's another good one, and you can see I've like.
You a big highlighter in all your books?
So most of them, yeah. A book like The Big Short, not so much, just because I felt like it was more of a story. In comparison to this, was like kind of trying to teach me something, and so I did go through this one a pretty good amount. And some of it, like when I look back through it, I was like, I probably didn't really need to highlight that. And some other things, I was like, well, maybe I should have highlighted that. So
yeah, I think that's kind of part.
But I do think it's like I can't remember. I watched some YouTube video somewhere talking about this guy who, when he reads, he like annotates it and then he makes his own like table of contents where he like puts the pages down.
That's interesting.
And so like he, if he saw something that he liked, he highlighted it or marked it, and then he would go back, like page number, and then he would normally write, whatever a sentence amounted or whatever it may be. So
that's interesting.
It's a good book. It's another technical, self-help book, but I felt like he just.
So what's the overarching like theme of, or how does it tie back to the what's like the naval part of it? Is it just a Navy guy? Like,
it's a dude. That's his name.
Oh, that's like his actual name. Oh.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I was thinking. I was like,
what's going on with who names their kid Naval?
I don't know, but yeah, that's what I initially thought, and then
I sound like an idiot now.
I think he's I'm pretty sure there's an episode of Joe Rogan that he was on. And I think that maybe kind of propelled him.
To like take
but
off.
He's like a Silicon Valley success. Was born in India, came to America. Like, I think there's a timeline in here somewhere. Let's see. I saw it. It's somewhere in here. I don't know where, but came to America. Went to, I think, Dartmouth and studied. Yeah. So here we go. Yeah, went to Dartmouth, computer science and economics. Founded, I guess that's some type of venture capital firm. And then he has just kind of
continued on.
Exploded from there.
Yeah.
But I guess his most famous successes are he launched Angel List, which I think that's like a site where if you need an angel investor, you can go. I think that's what that is. And then he also is heavily invested in Uber, which I'm sure made him.
I'm sure that helped out a little bit.
I'm sure that made him a very
successful person.
Nice lump sum of cash. But it just kind of, like, his whole thing is you need to find something that, his belief is you need to find something that just terribly interested in. I mean, like, this is you. Like, this is your life. And you need to go all in on it. And no matter what it is, you can figure out a way to make money with it. And his, like, 3 things are obviously health, wealth, and happiness. He's like, those are the 3 keys of life. And he says, you know, in reality, the order is happiness, health, and then wealth. Not, you know.
Wealth, happiness.
Yeah. So, but he just believes that you need to kind of devote, like, your attention is terribly important, your time is terribly important, and you shouldn't waste time, you know, doing something that you aren't fully dedicated to, because you're never going to be a top performer in whatever field that may be, because there is somebody else out there that is dedicated to it. They believe it, they live it, they love it. Like, that is their life. So you're never going to be able to beat them out because you don't have that natural interest. So that's kind of his main
point through the book is you need to be dedicated to
like,
something you're really passionate about.
Yep, you need to be dedicated. You need to find something you're passionate about. You need to be, you know, conscious and aware of your time. And he talks about a good bit about, like, the difference. You need to have, I'll see if I can find it. Something about, like, all of us, we're always, you know, we're working to make money. We have to figure out a way to, like, you know, save our time to make money, which is, it sounds stupid, but if I can find how he words it, then you'll be like, oh, this guy's a genius. But
this guy makes a lot more sense than,
yeah,
that's why he has a self-help book and I don't.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So
it's also why he has an editor and I just get to talk live pretty much.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting though, on, like, I think he makes interesting points. I'll just have quite a bit of pushback on his ideas. But, like, the idea of everyone needs to, like, find what they're truly passionate about and just work only on that seems vastly unrealistic for, like,
I agree.
the general.
I don't really disagree with that at all.
Point. I think there's but I think it's not so much find something that you're terribly, absolutely consumed with versus find something enjoyable to a degree.
I agree.
What is something I'm not, you know, I don't absolutely love, but I definitely don't hate.
Right.
Definitely, you know, maybe slightly above okay. Good, maybe is the word there. I think that's more what is to, I don't know. I mean, that's my perspective. Is
I don't disagree with that.
Strive for something you can wake up and you're not like, man, I hate to wake up
This is
today.
terrible. Yeah, like, this is terrible. How do I keep doing this?
You find a way out of that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think about it just like I enjoy my job now.
Yeah.
But, you know, if I were to compare it to my interest with golf, obviously it's different. Like,
I
you know,
want
it's
to be
different.
a pro golfer. But let me tell you, I'm not finding a way to make money. Just golf. Like,
Yeah.
me just playing golf isn't going to pay the bills exactly.
Yeah, not for me at least.
Yeah,
But I think that's kind of his main thing is just, you know, you need to always be striving for better.
I think there's a lot to be said to that. I think, you know, finding ways to push yourself, grow.
Agreed. Yeah, so he just believes, you know, getting rich is, you know, always being a perpetual learner, always pushing yourself, always devoting, you know, time to what you think will actually benefit you.
Yeah.
He believes in, you know, having leverage to do, you know, kind of to say you have the skill set to the point where, you know, it doesn't matter. You can't replace me with a computer because the computer can't think about decisions like I can. So, like, he has a lot of things like that.
Yeah.
Like, maybe this would epitomize it. It says, I think every human should aspire to being knowledgeable about certain things and being paid for our unique knowledge. Not to quote Ty Lopez, but knowledge. I just had to have these 36 bookshelves. It's all just getting up. But I think that's kind of his underlying theme is just everybody should be they should try and be better, and they should try and learn and find something that they're really interested at, and just push all the chips in on the table and go in on it. So
see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good points. I probably summarized it pretty poorly, but
overall, probably helpful. I think a lot of these are very good to read as like a reminder, almost of like,
exactly.
I do need to think about that more. Like, sometimes you just forget I need to do a small detail. I need to be thinking about my time. I need to think about how am I growing in my position or life or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I think that's the overall takeaway of every self-help is like, let me do a mental checklist of like what's going on in my life and how could I kind of recenter.
Yeah.
Almost.
Make sure you're not, you don't have any bloat.
Yeah.
Any baggage, like, hey, I'm running as lean as I can, and I'm not wasting any time. I'm not, dilly-dallying. I mean, I'm focusing on what I need to get done, and whether it be, something like you're working and you're doing school, like, I got to be devoting my time to those two things, and all this other stuff is a bunch of junk. Like, that's how it is. It can be anybody, they've got a job, but they want to run a marathon. They got to be, working their job and then training for the marathon. Like, no other time needs to be focused on that because those are the two goals. So
I think knowing what your goal actually is I think that's a very large part of actually sitting down and like thinking, what do I want from the next 5 years or whatever span you want to go down. I think that's a good thing to focus on every now and again. Like, how am I actually meeting that?
And I mean, once you meet, like, it's an ever moving thing. I mean, once you set out that target, you're going to have to, and once you set out that target and then achieve it, or set out that goal and then achieve it, then you gotta establish a new goal, and you're gonna be working towards the new goal, and it's just a perpetual process.
I think Matthew McConaughey said it really well. Is that I think it was during like an awards acceptance or something, but he was like, "My goal is to always be chasing me in 10 years."
Yeah.
And I think that's a very great way of just putting it flat out. Of that, if you're not seeing yourself somewhere, you have to see yourself somewhere. 10 years is better than where you're at,
right? And
then you have to try to aspire to that. And you have to try to set things in place. So I think that sums it pretty well.
It's true, because I mean, if that's what you're working towards, if you're just working towards, I'm chasing the me that's in 10 years. Well, if you spend 10 years chasing that you, then you're probably going to be that you were chasing. And then it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going.
Yeah.
So that is a good way of thinking about it.
I think that's a good way of framing it. So last question here, which I think is the most interesting one.
Okay.
When you're reading, are you having a visual imagery going on, or are you kind of more like blank, almost just reading the words?
So somewhere for me, it all depends on what I'm reading. One thing that I do is, and you may do the same, is like Never Where I Camp, for example. I watched since I've seen like bits and pieces of the Joe Rogan episode he was on, I know how he sounds. It's like when I'm reading, I hear it in his voice. If I was reading the Matthew McConaughey book,
Matthew McConaughey, be like kind of whispering in my ear.
Matthew McConaughey's talking to me. So I feel like with books that, like, there's some things that you can imagine in here, and that imagery aspect comes into play. Like he was talking about, when he was in school and this, that, and the other. So I do think about that. So I do make mental images, but it all just depends on the book. I would say there's very few books where I'm just glancing over the words. Like they're just running through my brain and then out. Are
you making mental images, or are you pulling in from like a
for me it's all scenarios. So like if I read something, I'm like, oh, I've been in that situation, and I think about that, and then I think about what I'm reading, and that could be.
So it's more of like experiences you've had, or like things you've seen before that you're kind of tying it to when you're reading?
Yes. And if I haven't had them, like if I'm reading something and I haven't had that experience, or I can't create a perfect picture, then I'm thinking about, when that arises, then I could do that. Like I read, one book I did that with was How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Mm-hmm.
Dale Carnegie, obviously, like one of the most famous books ever. So I read that book when I was like, much younger, and I felt like a lot of things in that book I couldn't exactly apply to my life at that time, just because I didn't have the opportunity. That's a book that, as you get older, all of the practices, sending people letters, sending people thank you notes, speaking to people using their name, like things like that. I feel like those are important things that occur kind of once you're an adult.
Yeah.
And once you have that, maybe a first job, or, you're getting married, you got to send out invitations, and you got to send out thank you notes, or you graduate, you got to send out thank you note. Like, you're looking for a job, you got to be able to speak to people and thank them for their time, things of that nature. So with a book like that, I was just more or less storing that stuff and saying, okay, when it does arise, then I can, apply it to that situation.
Yeah.
If I'm reading something and I've done it, then I'm like, okay, if it comes up again, I can either A, do it better, or I can just maybe change it just a tiny bit to, how this person thinks it should be done. If I agree.
Yeah. Is it the same way with like fiction books or stuff like that?
So fiction books, I think of it just like a movie.
Okay.
So the most fiction books, obviously, I've read a couple of the Harry Potters. F. Scott
For like
Fitzgerald.
Harry Potter, just focus on that for a second. So that you saw the movies, I imagine, before you read the book.
Yeah. So I just think about the movie.
Think about is like Ron, whoever plays Ron, and like Harry's Harry.
Yeah.
Or is it like kind of creating an image of like?
I think about it. Unfortunately, I think about it just like the movie.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
But if the wording is a tiny bit different, or that something is
Different
said,
scene or something.
then I'm like, maybe they didn't portray that appropriately in the movie,
I think
or something like that.
Yeah.
But the other fiction I've read is F. Scott Fitzgerald, who wrote The Great Gatsby.
Yeah.
I've read, I think, 3 books by him, obviously, The Great Gatsby. And then, I want to say the name of the other one is The Last Tycoon. And then, I can't remember the name. I can see the front cover. And all of his books are like very, roaring 20s, like, whatever they want to call it, glitz and glam or whatever. But like, I'm just thinking about when I read that, I'm like, is that how life was in the 1920s? Like, was it that
popping and
flashy, and everybody was, bouncing around, doing this and that, having parties, like making money? Is that what it was? I mean, maybe that was just. Are we just seeing like a small percentage of people in comparison to the rest of the world? So for The Great Gatsby, I obviously read it, and I've seen the one with Leonardo in it.
Yeah.
But I also saw a version that came out like a long time ago, like probably before I was born. And but it was still very similar to the new one.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just thought about it like that. But the wording, for some reason, provides a different level of emotion, in my opinion. So again, if that's the case, and I'm reading something that I've seen the movie of, then I feel like, hey, maybe the movie missed out on that. Like they could have
really capitalized on the scene.
They should have found a way to implement that.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So yeah,
that's the most unique answer I've gotten so far.
Yeah, but for fiction, I would say my percentage of fiction is terribly low. So
yeah, that's understandable.
But I do have to think about it. I have to think about it.
Yeah.
Like, that's just me. I mean, even when I'm reading nonfiction, I have to think about if that person's talking or whatever it may be, just like I said. So
yeah,
I'm definitely playing it through in my mind when I'm reading about it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Which I think is one reason why I'm maybe technically a slower reader.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I read articles, like news articles, pretty quick, but when I go to read books, it slows down a little bit, just because I'm like, the news article is just telling me, so I'm just like, oh, this person's just telling me this.
Yeah.
In comparison to if I'm reading a book, I feel like I'm having a conversation like right now.
Yeah.
Like somebody is, taking their time out of their day to educate me on whatever their book is about. So
that's an interesting way of thinking about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see your point of like kind of just having like an article.
It's like somebody shot me a text. I'm like, oh, thank you for letting me know.
Yeah. All right. Like, okay. It's like it's almost like getting an email. It's like you're just giving me whatever information you're asking or asked for. And
Yep.
Okay. Like, I'm not going to do anything with that. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As always, it's fun.
Yeah. Courtney.
Dylan.
Thank you for coming. What is, you want to start with your third book and then go down, or do you want to tell all your three first?
I can start with my third.
All right.
Should this be my third favorite?
Yeah, your third favorite.
Okay.
Number one's the best, three's the last one.
Third is actually one of a series, but they can also be standalones. They like the characters interconnect. A lot of them are siblings.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the last one in the series. It's called Hopeless. It's by L.C. Silver. It's in like the Chestnut Springs series.
Yeah, so that's the Chestnut Spring is like the whole.
Yeah, it's supposed to be this like small town in Canada.
Oh.
But basically, this one is called Hopeless, and this one covers the last sibling in the family, and he was overseas for like all the other books. He was in, I want to say, Navy Reserves, and so the book covers like him coming back because he got really injured, like something exploded, and he got caught over there for a really long time, came back, and the book is basically him like going through the different stages of PTSD, I guess.
Oh.
So, but he is like, he doesn't go to a therapist. He wants to like deal with everything himself.
Can't go to
Of
better help.
course. Couldn't imagine doing, just wanting to figure things out yourself. But no, that one's really good. And so throughout the story, he like meets this girl that he grew up with. So they grew up in the same town. They were actually neighbors growing up. And so they have this cute little love story, and they help each other, and then I don't know, they just kind of feed off each other. She's struggling a lot because she wants to get out of the town that she grew up in. Mm-hmm. She comes from like a bad family, and he's trying to get out of the town because it just reminds him of everything that happened throughout his life.
Yeah.
So
it's like a kind of classic war story, like in a sense of he went off and then like he comes back.
Yeah.
And now they're both trying to figure out how to like adjust to this new normal life.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's cute. It's lighthearted, but also serious. I like that. I like the switch back and forth.
Is each chapter like a different like stage of grief or something? Like is it each like?
Well, it switches back and forth between the guy main character and the girl main character. So like each chapter is a different POV. Yeah. But you get him like right when he comes back from basically like the hospital and everything, like his bones are healing and stuff, to like where he ends up at the end. So you do kind of see him like walk through the different stages of PTSD. Okay.
What did you like the like switching back and forth?
Yeah, I love, one of my other books is actually one that's told in I think like 4 different point of views. But I love getting that as opposed to like third person or just one person's, because then you can kind of like make your own decisions. You're not just hearing it from one person.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought about it.
But most people hate it, I feel like.
It's been mixed reviews. Some people have not liked it as much as it's like
back and forth.
I
know
like
what everyone's thinking.
I haven't read a book with 4 characters. I don't think. Well, maybe I have. I don't know. The 2. I normally like it when it's different perspectives. Yeah. I like a Normal People. I've talked about that one before, but that's a good book that does the same thing, and it's like a growing of age story. Yeah. Or coming of age. What did you like about it? This perspective change? Was that like making it top 3?
Yeah, I like the perspective change, but I also liked I guess because my brother was in the military, so I kind of saw like his stages of like healing and sort of like the grief that follows after that. So it was neat to see like that perspective told from someone who's kind of in a similar situation. So I guess that's why I liked it so much.
So like the fictionality tying back to like a personal story. Yeah. Along with like the writing style being unique. That's cool. Very nice. So Hopeless, number 3. Number 2.
Number 2, this is a thriller. It's called The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. Okay. It's really good. So this one's told, I want to say it's at least 4 different point of views. But it starts off and it's like this big friend group. I want to say there's 7 or 8 of them. And every single year for New Year's, they usually like travel together. They'll like rent like a mountain home or whatever and spend New Year's Eve together because they all went to college together. But then this year, one of the like people in the original group, I guess, has like a new girlfriend, and so she plans the whole thing, and she plans it in this like super secluded like mountain area where it's just gonna be like mini cabins, and then there's like a main cabin where they eat and everything.
Yeah.
So they're all doing that, and as it's like flipping point of views, you're kind of getting like everyone's headspace, like what their current drama is, and everyone's kind of realizing that like they really only hang out because of this tradition. Like they don't have anything in common. None of them live close to each other.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like awkward at first, and then someone goes missing. So then you're getting everyone's point of view switching back and forth, but everyone's point of view of the night that this person went missing is different. So like everyone's stories are contradicting each other, because if this person was here and this person's honestly saying they were there, who was really, like that type of thing. So the whole book you're like trying to figure out who went missing. Or are they dead? Because you don't get everyone's point of view, so there's like 3 or 4 people that you think the whole time could be missing. Like you just don't know. So you're like trying to figure that out the whole time, while also figuring out who, like, did someone kill them?
Yeah.
And I love a whodunit. Like I always read like Agatha Christie books growing up. So like the type of books where someone's missing and you're trying to figure out who and why. Big fan.
I like that the 4-person point of views seems most interesting to me for a thriller book. So all the other thriller books, it kind of is like narrowed in a sense of you're only seeing it through their eyes.
Right.
But having the you read 20 pages and it's like, oh, this character X is still here. Like now I'm going to read what happened to them during whatever event. Right. That seems like a very interesting.
And they kind of like start like losing their minds a little bit because they get snowed in there, so they can't leave. So everyone's just like super tense. They know who's missing, but the reader doesn't know who's missing or like what happened to them. So like everyone's literally losing their minds. So you don't know like which character you're supposed to believe what really happened, and then the ending's a pretty big shock. I feel like I love a good shocker at the end. Yeah.
Like, a good surprise does bring it home.
It does. It
has
does.
to.
I don't like to be able to guess it.
I don't want to be able to know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
If it gets too predictable, it's not fun. It's not a good time.
It's not.
So obviously the point of view changing is alike. What was anything else from it that was interesting?
I've read a lot of books like this, like where like everyone's together, one person's missing or dies, and the whole book is you trying to figure out what happened. That's always been kind of like my favorite thriller trope. But I think I like this one more than other thrillers I read because of the different point of views, because you couldn't figure out who was lying and who was telling the truth. So I like a good unreliable narrator.
Okay. Well, all right.
Big fan.
So number 1 is
The 5 People You Meet in Heaven.
Oh.
This is not a book that I usually would read. I don't love like sappy books, I guess. Like anything that I think could maybe possibly make me cry, I'm not going to pick it up. But my roommate actually recommended this to me in college. And I just kind of pushed it off. I've always had the book, but I was just like...
sitting on the shelf for a long time.
And it's really short too. I was just like, this sounds like this could maybe make me cry.
Yeah.
And it did. But it's okay because it ended up being my favorite of the year. I read it earlier this year, probably like March or so.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's this old man. He just lives like a really, really regular life. He works at an amusement park. And at the beginning, he's just like super... Everything's just mundane. He does the same thing day in, day out. Like, it just seems like so pointless. And then he goes into work and something goes wrong basically with one of the rides, and it's about to fall and a little girl's under it. And so he pushes the little girl out of the way, and the ride falls on him and kills him. This happens like in the first chapter, so I'm not like spoiling anything.
Yeah.
And then like he's brought to, I guess, heaven. Well, I mean, we don't really know what heaven's like, but in this
heaven.
book, it's like heaven, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And he's basically brought through like 5 different stages of his life. And then it's like 5 different people are there during those stages. So like one person, this one, next, the next, the next. And it's like people that either made a huge impact on him. He gets to like re-meet them and talk about it. Or someone that he made a huge impact on that he didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
So it's like he's going through all of these stages thinking that he just lived like this super pointless life. Like he worked the same job for like
years and
forever and never really did anything with it. Never really cared about that many people. Like he was just kind of like a grumpy old man.
Yeah.
But he goes through these 5 stages and realizes that like people that he impacted or people that he didn't even meet, like ever say hello to. Like I think that was the biggest, is he meets someone that he like never spoke to, never really even noticed, and she was one of the stages, and he like changed her life and he had no idea.
Yeah.
So that was just like so crazy to me. It's like going through the different stages, and I'm like, dang, like you really never think about like someone that you just looked at, like what that did to them. You know what I mean?
All the subtle actions that you don't really like think about.
Right. And it's always like creeped me out to think about how everything is like interconnected, I guess.
Yeah.
But this book like just like really, really brought that out with like everything. Everything's connected. Everyone's connected. And it's a sweet ending because he kind of realizes that like even though he didn't feel like his life had like a ton of meaning, it still did in the end.
Yeah.
It was such a sweet book.
Yeah, it sounds sweet. Sounds, moving. You're probably doing like some reflecting as you're reading it of like...
Yeah, I was. And that's another reason why I didn't want to read it, is because I don't like doing that.
Yeah, don't want to like think about it?
Yeah. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. That's one way to go about it. So what was the best part about it? It kind of sounds like the whole idea of going through the self-reflection almost.
Yeah.
Like key part of it.
I don't know. I guess like also as a Christian, it was cool to think about how like when we pass away, we're going to be able to like see everything and like full picture, like the impact that we made, the impact that people up there or still down here have on us now. Like, I don't know. It was just cool to like sit back and actually think about it, because I'm not one to ponder, reflect, and it kind of forced me to, which is a good thing.
So yeah, actually like thinking through.
Yeah.
Like at a large scale.
Right.
Well, that sounds pretty interesting. What was did you have an honorable mention that you were reading like 2 weeks ago? Or did that replace something on the list?
Oh, I haven't finished it yet.
Oh, you didn't
but
finish
it's going to be a top 5er for sure.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then save it. I guess now it's rolled into.
I know, now it's rolled into the next year, I guess.
Yeah.
But
oh well. All right. Last question.
Okay.
When you're reading, are you somewhere on the spectrum? One side being complete darkness and like no imagery, and the other side being like a vivid movie rolling through your head as you're reading along the pages.
I think we've talked about this before, but I like can't see things. Like it's black for me. Like if you told me to like close my eyes and picture a dog, I could think of a dog, but I can't like see a picture of a dog.
Yeah.
Like most people can. Like I always ask people, like, when you're reading, like, do you see everything? And they're like, yeah, of course. And I'm like, how? I'm like, please show me how. But evidently, like, some people just can't, because you can't either, right?
No, for the way I kind of describe it is what you're saying, of that I'll never envision a new character, per se, but I can envision a picture of something from my, like,
that I've
life,
already seen.
That I've seen.
Right.
So, like, for Harry Potter, when I read Harry Potter, I see Harry Potter from the movie.
Right.
Like, I don't see him, but I, like, know the image of him.
Or I'll think of someone that looks like how they described it in the book.
Yeah, pretty much. So like it's just
I
drawing
can't make
from.
up stuff.
I can't create something new.
Right.
And most of it's not a vivid image either. It's just like the thought
Yeah.
of the person.
That's what I'm saying. Like I can think of that, but I can't like see it when I close my eyes.
Yeah, when you close your eyes, it's just like dark. It's not like there's a picture popping up.
I'm not seeing anything, but I can think of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been interesting. Everyone's had a different answer to that. But
I wish I could see like a movie when I'm reading. I feel like it'd be more fun.
Yeah, I think that's why. Do you read any nonfiction or no?
I read nonfiction when it's like highly recommended or someone that I just like really am interested about.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird because I love watching nonfiction. Like I love watching documentaries, but reading nonfiction is harder for me.
See, I find it to be not easier. Nonfiction normally grabs my interest more because in fiction it's just like if I'm reading something that I don't know what it is about,
right?
I don't pull like any imagery.
Yeah.
Versus like if I'm reading, most of the fiction I've read is like from a movie or like from something I have an idea about the whatever it is,
right?
And so I can think of things, but other than that, it doesn't really like. There's not an interest.
Yeah.
To like read it, but it's interesting that we're all unique.
We are.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Grace White here. Amazing. Fabulous.
So kind.
And for your 2025 year, we can start with the 3 titles of your favorite book.
Yeah, that was my favorite, was The Favorites by Lane Fargo. Absolutely amazing.
All right.
Then I have Wayward by Amelia Hart. So good. And then my last favorite is Be Ready When the Luck Happens. And that was Ina Garten's memoir.
Okay. Well, let's start with your number 1 then, and maybe provide a little bit of like what it was about, quick like spark notes, and then maybe why you liked it. What was so great about it?
Absolutely. So it follows these 2 kids growing up, and they're actually trying to get to the Olympics for figure skating. Something I had never thought about before, but the way that the book paces itself from literally their childhood onto they go through I think 3 Olympic trials actually. It's just amazing. It's so drama filled. Just tells about the relationship and the ups and downs of it all. Highly recommend. It's a longer book. Like I think it was like closer to 800 pages, honestly. Like there's over 60 chapters, but it was so good. Yeah.
Okay. That's that's intense. What was kind of your favorite, or what gave it the number 1 spot?
I think being able to learn about something that I had no interest in before, and it not be like spoon fed to me in a way, like it was just a part of the story. But I feel like about ice skating, I think.
So like actually getting to kind of like, getting to learn like not knowing you're actually learning was like probably the best part, I'm assuming. Oh yeah, okay. So we were doing the why did it get the number 1 spot?
Okay, you want me to give from the start again?
Yeah, from the start of your notes, if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all. Okay, so The Favorites by Lane Fargo. It was so good. It follows 2 childhood best friends that start off and they are figure skating, trying to get to the Olympics, and they end up honestly going, I think, if I remember right, to 2 or 3 Olympic trials throughout the book. But the way that the book is paced is what made it my favorite, and it never had like its down moments, even though it was so much content. And I think that's what made it my favorite.
So having like a steady stream of like actually like useful information and like details and things like that.
Yeah, and like I kind of said before too, I think learning about ice skating in a way that it wasn't dumbed down, it wasn't anything like that, but just through the progress of the story was so fun too. Yeah, you're getting to like actually learn something while not knowing that you're learning something. Right,
Fun time. As for the second time. All right. book number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Book number 2 is called Wayward by Amelia Hart, and I read this over like Halloween weekend when I was traveling to Texas, and it was just a perfect fit for that time of year. So it follows 3 different timelines, so you get those 3 different perspectives, and each chapter is a different perspective. And it's the Wayward bloodline, and so it's literally from the 1600s, 1990s, and then present day. And it just tells the story of how this whole family finds out that they're witches, and like they're all connected in a certain way. And they all have this gift of being connected to nature and animals and the things around them, and it plays into their favor throughout the book. So it's such a good Halloween read. Yeah.
That's quite a pivot from number 1 being like about figure skating to having did did it deal with like the Salem like which was it like that area or like any of that?
Yeah, the first timeline was, and it kind of tells the story of how I guess like back in the day when the witch trials were going on about being like the medicine woman almost in the villages, and telling that kind of story and how she gets trialed for helping out a friend. And there's a good sense in every timeline of that family or found family perspective, like through friends. And so that was really cool too, to see like it's not just the bloodline trait of them being witches, it's the bloodline trait of them being good people too.
Okay. That's fun. So fun read.
Yeah,
fun
I
number
think you
2.
would like that one, honestly.
That sounds a little bit more interesting. One of the more interesting fictional stories.
Yeah.
What kind of made it? What made it number 2? Was it like the writing style, the kind of creativity, just the funness of it?
I think the creativity of, because sometimes I get really bored if it's like the different perspectives with the different characters, but this one was so well thought out that one, I didn't see the connection at first, and that's always kind of nice. And then like you kind of said, the creativity of how they were all connected and those different themes showing up in each perspective was really cool.
Well, that's very, very fun.
Yeah.
Good fun time. And so that leaves us book number 3.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit about it.
Yep, Miss Ina Garten's memoir, Be Ready When the Luck Happens. I had never really paid much attention to Ina, honestly. I always was a Martha Stewart fan, and then I got really bored at the start of the year and tried to get into memoirs. And so I started with Ina's, and it just was so fun hearing her full story. Like, I had no idea she started off in politics, how her and her husband have been together literally since like the dawn of time, and trying to see like where she just evolved into, you know, owning the store in the Hamptons and Nantucket, and then getting to where she is now.
Yeah. Was that your only memoir of the year? Or
I did Green Lights too.
Green Lights?
By Matthew McConaughey, yeah.
So why'd Green Lights not make it? Just out of curious, did you not like it?
Honestly, it was my 4th probably favorite book of the year. The one thing that kind of threw me off with him, I loved his writing style when he was storytelling, but the random poems and notes in it really got me. It took me out of the book, that's for sure.
That's interesting. I think it's fun having those little like, I think that like is kind of his style.
Yeah.
So it's almost like how his brain's flowing when he's writing all of this stuff is like, I don't know. I can see how that could be distracting. I kind of like it because of that. Like, I also like that it sounded uniquely like him, whether he actually wrote it or not. But it did sound like how he would talk, and I thought that made it interesting.
Yeah, I kept catching myself too when I was reading it, and I was like, "Oh, I can just hear him talking through this," which was fun.
Yeah. And so, what was the reason then that you put her book in front of Green Lights?
I think again, like her storytelling was so fun, and she's very descriptive, and I can see like how that channels through like how she makes recipes and like how she has a cooking show and being able to storytell through that lens. So I think just being able to like, that was one of the ones too where I was like, oh, I can hear her talking about this, and like she had her own style of voice, which is something new to me. Like I knew Matthew McConaughey before this, and I love his stuff too. So it's just a whole different voice to be introduced to.
Kind of getting to hear someone else's story that's more unique. That like it's not as well, it might be told about, but you don't know about it, so it's not like
more mainstream, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, less mainstream. It's kind of hard to avoid Matthew McConaughey. But yeah, okay, I can see that. That's pretty cool. That's a fun list. You have a mix in there.
It definitely was. When I like reviewed it, I was like, oh, this is an interesting little lineup I got going. So
yeah, how many books did you have for the year?
So far, I have 25. I'm trying 25. To get to 30.
Before. So you had a wide selection to pick from.
Yeah, I did. I read a lot of like beach ready kind of books, more than what I usually do. And those were fine, but I feel like a lot of those were just, palate cleansers too.
Yeah, it's those are fine to throw in there, I suppose.
Yeah. How many books did you end up reading?
I'm gonna have to go look. I'll have to see. I think I'm around 20s right now.
Nice.
It's one of the lower. I haven't been well. I have an Excel sheet that all of them are on, and I've just have not had time to go in and actually update it.
Right.
But yeah, I'll send. You can send the Excel sheet out to everyone at the end.
So, I was gonna say, I hope you're doing your top 3 too.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my 3. It'll be the last of the end of the video.
Nice.
Last question I do have for you, because I think this is interesting. When you are reading, are you seeing like an image or like pictures kind of through your head on, or like very well imagination?
Absolutely. I don't understand how people don't see it. I think we've had this conversation before in college, but I think that's just how my brain works with everything too. Like I can see it play out, and like I'll go back and make little notes as I read, like, oh, well, this hair color on this character is actually blonde instead of brown, like how I thought. And so adapting to it. But yeah, I definitely see it play out.
That's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see how many people have fictional, kind of more like really just fictional books in their list, and then also kind of have the picture, like being able to see images versus not. Because I'm pretty sure my list is going to have no fictional books. I don't think.
Oh, really? Okay.
But I also don't. I don't see anything when I read. There's no like imagery.
So
I don't read fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's well, that's why it's like having a movie before is pretty helpful, because then I can use the imagery from the movie to like think of and be like, that character should only look like that. It's not so much that I'll ever imagine a character, so it's different. But yeah, I appreciate you doing this. Thank you.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
We need to set up a longer one and can talk about ghost stories and fun things.
Yes.
We should have done a Halloween one. That would have been perfect.
We should have, honestly. We can do one next year for sure.
We could do the Nightmare Before Christmas now, and I guess that'd be it. Maybe have.
Fine. I was gonna say, you tell me when my long
have a fun. Well, let me know when you're available, and we'll set it up, and then we don't have to worry about Zoom. Thanks.
That sounds good. Anytime in December, I think I should be good. So just let me know.
All right. Well, then I'll send you some dates, and we'll get it set up.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you, Grace.
Of course. Thank you, Dylan.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right. So, Mom, what are your top 2 books of the year?
I mean, the problem is I actually do read so many books, but like Dad and I were talking in the car driving over here, and my go-to is psychological thrillers. And so they just start running together. I feel like, and I was telling him, like, for instance, the Woman in the Window that I'll do, it's like there's so many other books that are psychological thrillers. That's the Woman in Cabin C, the Woman
Yeah.
You know, on the porch, the woman in the back. I mean, it's just like, so they just, yeah. So I was like, this is kind of tricky. And then Madeline took my third, so that I was going to do. So
you can breathe. Is that your 3?
Well, so it's my 2 then, because Madeline has my 3rd.
Well, is one of them 1 and one of them 2, or is it just your 2?
This is my 2.
So that's the second. What's the third one?
The third one's the one she's going to do.
What's the name of it?
I know, I just forgot. See?
Oh, never mind.
I'm not going to do well with this. That's again why.
All right. Well, then number 2 is the woman in the window.
Okay, so we'll do the woman in the window.
So I'll start with that one. Then.
Yes. Okay. So I'm kind of going to cheat a little bit just to help. So.
Okay. So you a little bit about it.
Yes.
Let's start with that.
Okay. Dr. Anna Fox is a former child psychologist living alone in a New York brownstone. She suffers from, and I won't say this right, but a phobia where she's petrified to leave the house.
Okay.
Is it
I don't know.
I
have no idea.
Agoraphobia.
Agoraphobia.
I think. Okay. Anyway, so she spends her days drinking heavily, taking prescription medication, watching films, and spying on her neighbors through the camera lens. So she observes one of the new neighbors, the Russells. She has been observing them, and she gets to be friends with the mom, Jane Russell. And then one night, Anna sees Jane being stabbed through the window across the street. When she calls the police, they arrive to find out that this woman who claims to be Jane Russell is actually a different one than the one that Anna met, and that Jane is actually not been stabbed and she is perfectly fine. So, like, because of Jane also being an alcoholic and then using prescription medication, or abusing prescription medication at this point, the police and her neighbors dismiss all the claims that she's hallucinated, and then Anna begins to doubt her own self, and but then she seeks out to prove that the original Jane, did exist. And so basically after a year of her never leaving the house, she does start to leave and is determined to investigate who this Jane imposter is that she's, because she swore she saw the stabbing of. And then it, of course, has twists and turns and all the things of a psychological thriller. And it does wrap up, though, with an ending that I will not say, but it does come to a conclusion kind of thing. Okay.
So what made it number 2?
What made it number 2? It moves really well. And actually, I didn't know this at the time, but I think this is a show on Netflix now.
I believe it is a show on Netflix.
I think it is too.
I'm pretty positive.
And I don't know how.
Like one.
Yeah.
Sounds very similar to a show on Netflix, at least.
Yeah. So, anyways, but I love this author, and it just.
Have you read other books of hers?
I have, but I will actually be blanking because I do get her confused with Gillian Flynn and Riley.
That makes sense.
Riley Sager, I believe it is. But
so you've read her writing style before, though.
Yes.
It's not, okay.
Yes. And it's just
So you kind of knew what to expect when you got into it, and then it kind of flowed in a good story.
Yes, and I will say. A shout out to my favorite little bookstore in Traveler's Rest. That they do used and new books there, but the lady who owns it reads, I think, the same type of style I like also. And so anytime I go in there, she's ridiculously helpful, and it's like, have you done this one? Okay, get this one, kind of thing.
Yeah. What's the name of the TR bookstore?
Gosh, what is it? Another page? Gosh.
Oh, I don't know.
I know you've been in there, but it's been a minute probably.
It's been a while since I've gone in there. But yeah, it's a cute little place.
It is. I'll have to think. I'm going to come back and
put it in the notes.
Put it in the notes. Absolutely. So, yes.
So good number 2.
Yeah.
All right.
Great book. Yep. Great book. It flowed really well. It's like one that you look forward to reading at night.
You're kind of drawn to it.
Yes.
Okay, and so then,
And
what's
then
number
we have
the favorite of the year?
the
is-
other mothers.
Okay.
Actually, again, probably my favorite's when Madeline's doing. I don't know. This is hard, but this might actually have been my 3, 2, 1,
Mhm.
or 3.
Well, one's the best. So
1 is, yeah. So this is not that. That's okay. But this
Okay.
is a good. This is a really good one too.
okay,
But a little bit more all over the place because
is it also a thriller?
it
Or
is.
it-
It's also, I think, considered a psychological thriller. To me, it's not quite like this where
Mhm.
you know, page turning, like, or page turner, I guess they call it. But what makes this one a little more complicated is it jumps between the two, like the present, the girl in the present. She's kind of like, you know, telling the story, but then there was a girl who was murdered, and she's given her perspective up to her murder, like.
So
Until she was murdered.
there's the girl today,
Yeah.
and then there's the girl from the past.
Yes.
The like dead girls, also.
Yes.
Different girl.
Yes.
Okay.
And they, you know, it'll jump chapter to chapter kind of thing. So to me, those are a little bit trickier than just straight shot.
See, I normally like those more
Oh,
for
wow.
a fictional book,
Okay.
but I don't know about that style. Like normal people that I read, they do it where they switch between the boy and the girl character,
Okay.
and so that's.
Yeah, that helps.
It's also not a thriller though,
Yeah.
so I don't know how that would read.
Yes.
How that. That's an interesting.
It is, because that's like,
That's
to me,
different
it's, yeah.
I would expect.
I'm not quite as, like.
Well, normally I'd expect a thriller to be from the like victim's point of, or whoever the protagonist is.
Yeah.
I'd expect their point of view versus like the dead person.
Okay, yeah.
You
Right.
know, that's just kind of a different way of.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever read anything from
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It is.
That's unique.
It is unique, definitely unique. And I don't know. I don't think I've read anything else by this chick, Catherine Faulkner.
Mhm.
So, anyways, but the gist of this was like, Tosh is the main character, I guess,
Mhm.
or at least the live main character.
Yeah.
It follows her. She's a new mother, struggling freelance journalist. She feels isolated. They're having financial strain. So they're in a tiny flat. This is done in London. But she's drawn to a group of affluent, sophisticated mothers. She sees her son's play group and kind of like yearns to be accepted into that exclusive kind of London world of these moms.
Yeah.
But then a young nanny named Sophie is found dead under. So the other Sophie found dead under mysterious circumstances. Tosh, the chick, sees an opportunity to launch her journalism career and begins to investigate. As the mothers welcome her into the circle, she discovers a life she could only dream of, but soon realizes there's more to the tight-knit community that meets the eye. And then, the narrative alternates between Tasha's perspective in the present and then Sophie's perspective in the past, leading up until Sophie's death. So the investigation leads her very close to getting close to the other moms. And when another young woman is found dead, it's clear that the community is hiding secrets. The story builds suspense, and then Tosh questions who she can trust and whether her new friends have a dangerous reason that they accepted Tosh into their group.
Yeah.
The book, it does have a lot of twist in it.
Is it more of like a mystery than like a...
That's a good, yes. I think to me this one would be more
like
of a
a
mystery.
kind of mystery thriller?
Yes. I would go with that.
More of that.
Yes. And the twists were really well done. And again, like at the end, you do get the full truth. You get like the whole reveal, which I always like because I do like for my books to have a wrap up.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely it was probably more twisty.
For this one, was it more of the style that kind of knocked it down from...
Yeah, I would guess so. Again, I think to me, it's that going back and forth. I'm not as great with that.
Having to like keep up with who you're...
Yeah, I'm trying to think of that one book that like maybe the guest list or I think it was the guest list book that I read. I can't think of who now, but one of those popular ones. don't know if that was Riley Sayers, but it jumps from, I think there were like at least 4 to 6, people telling their story, and it's like, to me, that's
too much fun.
It's too much.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard to. I think it's pretty hard to do. I'm trying to think of all the books I've read with that. There's some. Those Percy Jackson books.
1,000.
Yeah. The Percy Jackson books, not the Lightning Thief. I don't know what those are called. The second series he wrote does that. It'll jump, but it's from like the different characters.
Okay.
So it's like a storyline progressing at the same time, but they're in different places. So it's like not as confusing.
Right.
Because it's telling like what character 1's doing to progress and what character 2 then does to progress, and it's not like flip-flopping between really perspectives.
Okay.
But yeah, I do agree. It can be like, I don't know, if you don't finish the chapter, you kind of are like, where did I leave? Like, who am I reading from?
Yeah.
So you're kind of like forced to get through.
Yeah.
If you don't finish the chapter, then it's like, well, I don't know who I'm supposed to be right now.
Yes.
That gets
yes.
kind of like,
Yeah. But no, yeah.
Do you have the notes for the other one?
No, the other Madeline's got. Well, I don't know if she copied, but she's got the book and stuff and try. But she'll do it.
What made that other one so good?
This one or that other one? She's
the
going to
other
do.
one.
Gosh, what made that one good was. It was, to me, it was a little bit like the 80s. Like, I don't know that it was even set per se in the 80s, but it kind of had like this feeling to me of being done in the 80s, and kind of like that dark, a little bit like Goonies. I don't know. I'm not doing it exactly justice, but
like kind of
it's like they went to a diner. There's a lot of driving in a car. And they end up like.
Is it like a teen like kind of?
It's not. It's like college. I think the main character was college age.
So like young adulthood.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was just, and you couldn't.
Just the style and story was unique, very much. So
it definitely had you like this. I know what's going to happen. I know who's the bad person. I know who the bad person is, and it would go and go, but you were like along for the ride of that, and then it twist, and it took a turn, and it was like, but yeah, I don't know, but the book's just amaze me. I think it's just fun. Yeah.
The last question is, when you're reading, are you very much like having a picture in your head going on, or like is it kind of blank, or is it a mixture of like what is it like? What's the experience?
That's a good question. I think I don't know. I guess I do kind of get like a movie going with it, pictures going with it. I don't know. I know like there have been books in the past, especially if you get a couple in a series kind of thing. I'm trying to think of one I did, and of course all blank too, because I can't. My memory's just not great. But it's like you get so connected. It's almost like it's like a Netflix series to me. Like when I'm done, like we're done with what's the Justin Bate one that everybody really loved, Ozark. When we were done with Ozark, it was like I was depressed to not see Marty again and stuff. Like I missed Marty, and it was like so depressing to think I won't see him again. And I guess sometimes I feel like that with the books too, with the characters. You're like, it's almost this weird, like, no, I don't want our relationship to be over. I want to hang out with you again. And I don't know where I'm going with that, but I guess just,
So it's like a visualization of the characters is like, very much like there.
Like I kind of, like, you
almost like
dive
an
into
omnipresent, like, idea, like you're kind of just there in third person.
Yeah.
Sitting. Like, kind of watching, like, walking behind them.
Yes.
Sort of.
Yeah, I guess that is.
Yeah.
So weird.
So you have a very visual, like, idea of what's going on when you're reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Well.
Yep.
Cool.
I know. Well, thank
All
you
right.
for
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you. Sorry
Yeah.
if I didn't quite follow the rules, but
Yeah.
hey, something.
Yeah.
I'll get my read. I'll get going on 26.
26 can
Ugh.
more defined.
That's right.
I think I didn't really read that many books this year.
Oh, so you just got 3.
I just really locked back into book reading in December.
December was a crazy.
I think I read like 8 to 10 books somewhere this year, and
Mm.
all but like 2 of them were in December.
I don't. We're gonna lock on. We're gonna figure out what I guess are the favorites of December. But whatever. All right, so 3 is the lowest and 1's the best. So starting at 3,
Okay.
what was the 3rd book of the year?
Well, I'm going to start out. All 3 of these books are going to be in the same genre.
All right,
Well, kind of, not really. But
same area, I guess.
I think number 3 is The Killer Angels by Michael Shara.
Mm.
Civil War book.
Yeah,
Well, it's really just about the Battle of Gettysburg.
that's like all it focuses on is Gettysburg.
Yeah, that one does.
What was like the? Is it just like the story of it, or like the?
It's like the story, but it's a novel. It's kind of.
It's not historical fiction.
It's not really fiction.
No.
It's all from like their.
They like take recounts of like what happened.
Yeah, like
and
these,
then,
and it follows like 4 or 5 guys,
that's
like Robert E. Lee,
Mhm.
James Longstreet on the Confederate side. What's this guy's name? I don't remember what the guy's first name is, but it's Hancock
Mhm.
and Chamberlain on the Union side.
So like that'd be pretty interesting.
But it's like from their point of view,
Yeah.
like chapter by chapter.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
so it just goes from like chapter, so it flips back and forth. between-
Yeah, like fills the
yeah.
story in. There's
Yeah,
little maps to show that they're all.
I like pictures.
That's the best part
I needed the pictures
because you gotta have the pictures.
Yeah.
Um,
What made it your favorite or number 3?
I don't know. I like there's a prequel to it that was written afterwards by that guy's son, which is better. I think I like it better.
To it?
Yeah, it's Gods and Generals, which is like the rest of the Civil War leading up to that.
Mm. Yeah.
But it follows a lot of the same people, so you kind of like learn more about them then.
Well, that makes sense, I guess. You could have done Gods and Generals on the number 3 then.
I don't know. I like Gods and Generals better though.
Oh, so okay. So what's number 2 then?
That's number 2.
So number 2 is Gods and Generals.
Yes,
Okay.
but it's the same thing. It's like there's a couple different guys in it because some of them die.
Oh.
Like it starts out like it's like the first like third of the book though is before the Civil War ever happens. It's like a lot of these guys were like buddies on both sides. They were buddies before the war. Like they were served together, and
That's kind of interesting.
the Mexican War. I think that's what it's called. Like the war like right before that we have in Mexico for like Texas and all that.
Yeah.
And they all serve together, and then they go in there.
So it's telling like it's not Texas Rangers. I don't think that would not be it. Never mind. I don't know what.
It's not talking about that part really.
No.
It's not talking about the war. It talks about it.
How
It's
they
not
all-
during that. Like they go back to it a lot.
It talks
About how they were
all
like
the
they
men
served together, and then now they're just kind of hanging out.
up. Gotcha.
And then I think there's a couple of them. What's the guy's name? Armistead, who's on the Confederate side. He's not really a main character in the second book, but he is in the first one.
Mhm.
And Hancock, they were like best friends. Like they were like serving together when the Civil War started, and they one of them had to dip. And
That's kind of interesting that they were like.
And
you don't really think about like the fact that they knew each other on all
they
the
just
sides.
like were like crying and stuff, and they were like, and one of them was like, "If I ever have to fight you, I'm gonna just throw down my sword and die and let you kill me."
Oh, that's kind of brutal.
Yeah.
That's a That's
And
a
then
tough part.
in the Battle of Gettysburg, their units end up fighting each other, and that guy dies.
Oh,
The guy on the Confederate side because they just got spanked.
yeah, that's a tough one.
It's pretty sad.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty dramatic telling of like the realities of war, I guess. The fact of you have all these like friends and companions that
It's a civil war for you.
Yeah, That's probably a lot worse, to be honest.
Isn't it like
I mean,
I think the Civil War is the war that's. I think more Americans died in the Civil War than like World War I and World War II combined.
it had the highest death count out of all of them.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, kind of makes sense considering, it was only Americans fighting.
Yeah.
Also, really interesting the fact that, like, the technology you had then compared to later on, you would think that it would exponentially go up, but it doesn't.
It's because it's way more hand-to-hand.
Yeah. Well, it was, like, all hand-to-hand, because you had, like, the greatest thing you had was, like, the Gatling gun.
You had cannons.
We had cannons for a long time.
But they couldn't aim, barely.
No. You had a musket, but it's like...
It was crazy. Like, I didn't know, like, before the book, right before Gettysburg, England almost joined the war on the Confederate side.
Oh, that stuff is interesting.
They thought they were going to do it.
Yeah, Europe was trying to figure out who to, like...
Europe, like, it talks about it in both books. Like, there's a lot of, like, different European countries have officers that just kind of hung out with both sides, like, the whole time, just kind of seeing what was happening.
Yeah. But didn't the French... I thought the France was trying to back... I thought they did back the South.
I think they were going to do it. I think they did help some.
I think a lot of them were, like, on the fence of, like, economically trying to choose a winner on, like, who they wanted to back in the long term. And I can't remember... I don't remember what the Union did. I thought
Probably anybody helped them, but they didn't really need it.
they didn't really need it because you had all the manufacturing up there. I mean, you had everything.
But it is interesting. Like, they talk about it constantly in the books. They all do, both sides. Like, they're like nobody ever really thought like it was about slavery at that point. They all thought it was about like I don't really know. Like, they don't really get into that part, but they're all talking about how it never was about slavery. It was more about like respect and like their rights.
Yeah, I mean,
but I don't really know enough about all that. Like, know whether that's really true.
Into like the social aspect of what was going on politically.
That's definitely part of it, but
I think part of it would be like, I'm just down here, and then you all of a sudden get drafted, and it's like, well, I guess I'm gonna go fight. I mean, I think like outside of the higher ups, there's a lot of just like, well,
we're just here.
Yeah, like they shouldn't come to.
Well, you had that, and then you had guys that really loved what they were doing. It seemed like they were really fighting for something, and that's why the North won. Like the South. That's also why the South stayed with them as long as they did. Like every battle, almost they said like they were outnumbered like 2-1.
Yeah. It was interesting because South went on a run to start the whole thing, and then you get like a stalemate. And then the South was cooked.
Yeah. At
that point, they had no chance.
Yeah, as soon as they lost the momentum, they were done.
Yeah, because you couldn't keep up with all the North's their kind of advantages.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that I don't know. I think it's an interesting claim to be like it's not about slavery.
They all said it. Like they all constantly said it. They all talked about it, and like the North side said the same thing. Like, they weren't really like.
It was just spite.
I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's funny. I don't really know.
No.
But it's crazy.
Yeah.
The Chamberlain guy, he was like halfway. He was almost. It was like very beginning of the war. He was just like a professor at a university in Maine. He was like, "Screw this! He told his like the dean or whatever that he was going to Europe for sabbatical. And then he went and signed up, and they made him like a colonel or something small. It was something like a colonel probably. Yeah. And he worked his way up all the way to general and won a bunch of different medal honors and stuff like that.
Wasn't the Civil War 1880 or
61 to 65? I think.
65. That's always surprises me. Not far away. That isn't the grand scheme.
It's not that long ago.
It's always the most interesting part of the Civil War. It's it's 4 generations, 5 generations ago, depending on how long the person lived.
It does depend on that.
Yeah, that is
but it's crazy. It isn't that long ago.
Yeah. Well, 2 interesting books. What does number 1 fall into?
Number 1
is it history?
No, it's American Sniper.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah.
I actually read that in December. I read the other 2 before that.
Yeah.
But I went into it and I thought I'd already read it. I really did. And I got into it and I read like a chapter and I was like, I've definitely not read this. This guy's badass. I thought this guy was cool.
Yeah. That's pretty, it just follows his life. But what's maybe an interesting part from it?
Dude, the way he just thought about life and war.
Mm-hmm. Did he commit suicide? Or
no, he got
killed by someone.
Yeah, he was like helping. He had this thing where he was helping veterans, like taking them to shooting range, just doing cool stuff. And then this guy, he was a shooting range guy, turned on him and just shot him.
Yeah, I couldn't remember exactly how he.
I can't remember if they said that it was more of the guy did it like from PTSD or if he did it because he was pissed off about the way like Chris Kyle talked about war, like how he talked about it. It was like more like it was fun for him.
Mm.
But it was like a job, but it was fun for him and like he liked what he was doing. Yeah, I guess that guy did. Yeah, I can't remember if it was PTSD or that the guy didn't like.
Yeah, but something
triggered him.
Something snapped. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like the perspective on war, because I feel like you have to mentally like kind of take your place somewhere else, and like yeah, but you would probably seem kind of crazy. I mean, but imagine you kill like hundreds of thousands of people. I mean,
he's got the most confirmed kills for sniper in American history, but he talked about it a lot in the books.
Mm-hmm.
Unless the guy drops and you see him not move again right in front of you from where you're at, and somebody else is there to witness, which he wasn't always on. Most time, he was on solo missions, so if nobody else was there, it didn't count as confirmed kill.
So that number could be below. It's probably below.
He said that it's probably in the thousands.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah, but I mean, coming back from that, it's probably...
Because, like, if you hit that guy, if you hit somebody in the chest, and even if you got somebody watching, that guy ducks behind a wall, it doesn't count as a confirmed kill.
No, then yeah, I would say he probably has... I'd imagine you get hit by a sniper rifle, you're probably not walking that one off most of the time.
No.
I would imagine. So, three historical-ish kind of books.
Yeah.
Are you going to read another historical book next year? Or are you gonna
I don't know. I got to go through all those books that...
You got a lot of history piled up.
Courtney's grandfather got me.
Yeah.
Gave me.
So, a lot of history next year.
And maybe you've got some of them, too.
Yeah, I have a lot. I have a lot to... You can go through.
I want to reread Harry Potter now that I'm looking at what you got over there.
Oh yeah, Harry Potter's a fun one. Last question for you.
Uh-oh.
On a spectrum. So you have this side being when you read, it's just like complete darkness.
Oh, here we go.
And on this,
I'm all the way on this side.
all the way on the colorful vision. Oh, like you're seeing a movie in your head, essentially.
Yes.
What? So when you say like a movie,
you don't have this right. You're on the other side.
I'm on the other side. Describe how it like. Describe what you're seeing. Like, are you not closing your eyes, I guess, but when you're reading, you're having like imagery run through your mind, essentially.
Yes. Like I'm. Like if there's a person, like characters, like they have a face, like they have a body, like I know exactly what they're. Like I'm watching them.
Are you creating the character and like making?
It depends.
Oh, okay.
It depends, and if I've seen like if there's somebody that's really similar to like that I think of that's really similar to them, like an actor or something, or if there's an actor that's already played them and
like
I watched the movie
yeah.
for it, which is a big reason I realized like this year. Like actually, I realized probably just now. I don't know why I just said this year. Probably
this moment.
Like just now. That's probably why I like reading the book. I don't know. I go back and forth between liking to read the book, liking reading the book before the movie or movie before the book.
Yeah, it like flip-flops.
Because like, what if the movie's bad and then that's all I can think of is how bad those people were in that movie?
Yeah, and then just
but then it's like, but then it's also like I kind of want the movie to go first because that's when I want to have the suspense.
Yeah,
but then also. I like having the suspense in the book. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I think there's not really a good...
It just doesn't upset you either way.
It doesn't matter either way, honestly. I used to think it did. I don't think it matters anyway.
See, to me, it's always... I like watching the movie, so I have the character. Like, I can picture that character.
Yeah, so you have something?
Yeah, to go off.
See, I don't need that.
See, yeah, it's not the same. That's interesting. Do you picture, like, a whole scene around them?
Oh, yeah.
So it's, like, literally, like, rolling the tape, like... You're seeing it.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's interesting. I think the only other person to say that was Mark. I think Mark says like the same thing when he reads. It's very much like he
I
has
see everything.
scenery and like a person, and they're going through whatever action.
Yep.
Interesting. You think that helps you read faster?
Yeah, I think sometimes I don't fully.
You don't read every word.
Well, I know I don't read every word, but I don't.
Just skip
like I
around.
don't fully. I always sometimes I don't get the picture every single time. Like sometimes I reread it because I think I have ADHD. I think I read 2 lines at a time. Like I'm reading like. Sometimes it doesn't. Like I get to the end of that first like those lines, and I'm like, that didn't make quite sense. But most of the time it makes sense because I read it so fast, and I get to there, and then that makes sense because I connect it. I don't really know.
That's interesting. That's I could understand like reading one line and skipping like words, but reading 2 lines at one time seems very
I read 2 lines at one time most of the time. I think
normally when I read 2 lines at one time, I'm just like, oh, whoa.
Sometimes I'll like think about doing it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and then it takes me like 5 minutes to read one page, and then I get back to it because I stopped doing that for a minute because I can't do it if I'm thinking about it.
Do you do it? Do you read that same way if you're taking like your like Adderall or like when you like are taking that?
I don't remember. Probably, yeah. I think I was about the same
Oh,
way.
you do the same. Doesn't change how you like go about it all.
I don't think so. I haven't taken Adderall since high school, so I don't know. I don't remember.
I was just curious if it would make you like change.
I think it was about the same.
I didn't know if it was because like the ADD or ADHD is like making you like bounce between the lines, and then it would be like
the Adderall.
Like it, so you'd focus on one line.
I don't think so. I think it stayed about the same.
Can do a control test.
I don't know. I also like 2 months ago I tried to get back on Adderall because I thought I thought I'd lost the grip on it.
Yeah.
Turns out I was just stressed at work. I was just taking more and more like per day, like ramping my dose up to see what would happen.
Yeah.
And nothing changed.
Well, I guess never mind. All right. Cool.
Well,
thank you.
It's good to go.
All right.
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right. So Riley.
Hello, Dylan.
What are your top books of the year?
Top books of the year. So, coming in number 1.
All right.
Happy Place by Emily Henry. Do you want me to describe or give my list?
Let's give the list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2, Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren.
All right.
Number 3, Verity by Colleen Hoover.
Okay.
Honorable Mention.
Yeah.
Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins.
That's a good one.
It is a good one.
Okay.
I'm not really a nonfiction gal. I did 75 Hard at the beginning of this year, and that a part of 75 Hard, you have to read nonfiction. You cannot read fiction books. And of the books I read during 75 Hard, that was the only one I've actually enjoyed reading. So it gets an honorable mention because I don't read nonfiction books that I actually enjoy.
Well, good for it.
Good for it is correct.
How many books did you go through during that time?
During 75 Hard, I think I finished 6.
6. How many pages did you read it? Is it a day?
So you have to do 10 pages every day.
So that'd be 70 pages a week.
Yeah, but like the Mel Robbins book, I enjoyed
So you probably
reading. So I read more books.
Yeah.
And it could be. I read Matthew Perry's like memoir.
Yeah, that's an interesting book.
Yeah, it was interesting. I don't really remember a lot about it because I didn't care. The Let Them book, I read The Color Theory, I think is what it's called. It's about like every person's a color, and it's like based on your personality and like being dominant or an influencer or no. It's like a DISC assessment. Have you heard of DISC? Dominance. DIS. I don't remember because I didn't care about it, so I didn't remember reading it.
Okay.
And then I read another book that was like talking about your relationship and how you should implement God in it, but I never finished it because I finished it for art and I was like, I don't need to finish this book, so it doesn't matter.
Yes, you're done.
So it's still sitting on my bedside table.
That's a fine place.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go kind of reverse order here.
Okay.
So the Let Them Theory.
Yes.
What did you like about it?
So essentially it's Mel Robbins. She has a podcast too. She was just talking about how you should when someone does something that bothers you, you just need to let them. Like, what is, when someone is doing something that's making you have a reaction, why are you not just letting them do what they want to do? Because it should in no way affect you. And I am a people pleaser and like to be in control of things. So the Let Them theory book has kind of helped me be like, well, if he wants to be a dumbass, he can be a dumbass. I'm going to let them be a dumbass. Or
they kind of like everyone's an adult and they can kind of control their own.
As Luke always says, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. If that's what they want to do, let them.
Yeah. It's not your job to intervene. And kind of,
It was a little redundant because it's a pretty thick book, and there's only so much that you can go in about the theory of letting people do what they want. But it's a good like reminder of just people are who they are, and there's nothing you can really do about it. And it really does like makes you not as angry, or like when you react to things, just being like, it doesn't matter. Why is it affecting me? Why am I letting it affect me? So
good way of like reframing your mind a little bit,
in a way,
or kind of just coming back, kind of focus, and
right. Like, or even at work, like if someone on my old team's not going to do their job well, it would work me up. Like, oh, they're not doing their job well. Like, I have to pick up their slack. Well, no, I don't have to pick up their slack. If they're not going to do their job, I'm going to let them just not do their job, and it's not on me to like
constantly
pick up their slack.
Them and
Yeah.
I
So
think there's a lot to that.
It gets an honorable mention. Now, I've read it and I enjoyed it, but I don't always use the let them theory in my life day to day.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
That's fine. You know, that's part of being human. It's not like going to perfectly follow all the advice
that's
kind of instruments you're given and tools you have.
For sure.
I think there's something to that.
For sure. But I think how I was like, you know, my parents are divorced, my dad's not around. I feel like with I'm the oldest, my little brother, I always felt like a second mom because I was like, oh, I'd like to be in control.
Yeah.
Like maybe have a problem sometimes, but I think that book really helped me realize
I don't need to
be in control. And maybe I want to be in control, but I can't control people. So and that's one thing they say is like, the only thing you can control is how you react. So sometimes I just have to remember that.
There's a lot of truth to it. I mean,
that's true.
So.
That's true.
Know if you need the only thing with self-help books, my harp on all of them is that the fact there'll be like 200, 300 pages, somewhere in between.
For what?
I think everyone should go to the editor and cut it down to 120 pages.
You could easily cut it down. Yes.
No way you need to talk that about.
No, you don't. You can tell a million stories and it doesn't really matter.
No.
It's the same idea behind the let them. Yeah. I completely agree. That's why I don't like fiction books, respectfully, because they just are redundant.
Yeah. And
continue to be redundant for the entirety of the book.
Well, I don't know, there's differences. There's a lot of educational wise, like self-help, or if I'm learning about something, they harp on the topic. I think biographies and memoirs,
those are interesting,
are really interesting because they don't really. You kind of see it from like the 30,000 foot perspective of their life. I think those are more interesting. I do agree with most educational books are just not always going to be interesting. Right. Unless like you're really into that topic. Agreed. Something you want to learn about. But I would say like a lot of them should get cut down to like the 100, 150.
I mean, but even some of them don't even need 100 pages. No. Respectfully. In my personal opinion.
Some of them are just being wordy. Like just
But some books are just wordy in general. Even movies. I went and saw Wicked, the second movie, on Friday night. And that 2.5 hour movie could have been cut to an hour. Easily. But they just want to add some crap into it. And that's fine. It was a good movie. Whatever. But some books are that way also. Was this scene needed? I'm just curious. It wasn't needed.
Probably not.
How does this add to the plot at all?
Couldn't tell you.
Whatever. It's fine.
That's part of it. Let's go number 3.
Number 3.
Yep.
Verity. Okay. Colleen Hoover. That's kind of the book that like made me start to enjoy reading again. Colleen Hoover I read. that movie that came out. What was it? It Ends With Us, It Starts With Us, whatever. I think It Ends With Us is like the book that it went viral, like everyone liked it. Some of her books are not good, but Verity was really good. It was kind of a thriller, but like still love story-ish. The, like, spoiler alert, I guess. The husband and this kind of like editor, or she was a writer, ran into each other, accidentally had an accident, like coffee spilled on her, I think it was coffee, and like this is the very beginning of the book. They like met each other, end up finding out that this husband once wanted to hire her out to finish writing a book that his wife never got to finish.
Yeah.
And Verity was the wife's name. Verity was in a coma. So the husband thought, spoiler alert, Verity has been faking the fact that she's in a coma for the entirety of the book.
Yeah.
But this new writer comes in and lives in their house to finish this book, reads through all of Verity's old writing so that she can understand like how Verity wrote, finds out that Verity was like a psycho, like killed, I don't remember if it was daughters or sons. I read this at the beginning of the year, so I can't tell you the like details, but and then this new writer like came in and kind of exposed Verity, proved to the husband that she was crazy and faking that she was in a coma, and then the husband obviously like divorces her, isn't with her anymore, and is with the new writer, as one can predict. Yeah. Very thrilling. I find that I like my fiction books to be like with romance, but also thrill and excitement and like surprises, I think are the things I find most exciting, because I like to be on the edge of my seat. I have my handy dandy Kindle.
Oh, there you go.
This is actually Luke's that I stole. He never used it, and I was just like, I'm going to start using this. I do, in fact. It's linked to his Amazon account, and I do buy books for free on his account. Yeah, there you go. But I just like turn all the lights off when I go to bed. I read every single night, and like if I am in the plot where it's like really interesting, I will read for like an hour and a half. I love it.
You said it. Is that from doing the like 75 hard? You started setting aside like 10 minutes or whatever.
So yes, but because I started when I read, I guess senior year of college, I started to read like in my free time, because we're going to get into a whole tangent. I believe that social media is kind of a waste of time. You look back and you're like, wow, I spent 3.5 hours scrolling and looking at your phone. And now with AI, you don't even know if half of the things that you're looking at are real or not.
A lot of brain rot. You can
Very brain rot. And not that brain rot's not good sometimes, because I think it is, but I've tried, especially with 75 hard, because you're doing 2 45-minute workouts, you have to read, you know, you need to be really diligent with your time. I realized that, especially from me to fall asleep better, it's easier to fall asleep with reading. And also I get more enjoyment of like, oh, I read this book, instead of, oh, I watched TikTok for an hour and a half. Yeah. I'm not saying I don't like enjoy doing that sometimes, but sure. I enjoy reading now, so, but if I don't like the book, I will abandon it. I am a big abandoned booker. I'm not sure
what the term of that, but
I just remember in elementary school, it was like, if you read a book and you don't like it, you can abandon a book. Yeah. If I don't like the book, I'm not going to finish it. It's just some complete waste of my time. I could care less. It's not good. Yeah. So I'm not going to finish it.
So, respectfully.
Yes. But I did, and there is a movie coming out about Verity. I think at the beginning of 2026, which I'm excited about. Okay. Anne Hathaway is in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Huh. So I'm very excited about that.
Very
That
cool.
is my third.
All right. Very interesting. And then Love and Other Words.
Christina Lauren. Okay. This book, also thriller. Couple, or like a boy and a girl, they kind of grow up together. This is I think the girl's like second vacation home with her parents' vacation home, whatever, neighbors. They like read together, they grow up, they end up dating each other. She is there like over the summer, and they start dating, whatever. Or maybe they were together but not dating, whatever. she was visiting him on New Year's Eve night, and I can't remember if he was like he was drunk and a girl was taking advantage of him and the like girlfriend caught it, or if he like was drunk and made a mistake. I'm not sure. So this girlfriend, I cannot remember their names, caught this boyfriend, whatever. She ends up like freaking out. The mom or dad drive to meet the daughter because she's obviously heartbroken, and they get in a car wreck and one of the parents die. So like it's fast forward like between they hadn't talked in 10 years, so it skips to like this is present time. They run into each other and it's like, oh my gosh, you were my best friend, I loved you, we haven't talked, why haven't we talked? The boyfriend or the ex-boyfriend had no idea that one of the parents had died that night because of that being the case, and she had blamed him the last 10 years for the death of the parent because they wouldn't have had to drive and come and get her if he would not have hooked up with this girl, whatever happened. Yeah. So like obviously they like get back together, spoiler alert, but it was just the plot, like how they obviously waited until the end of the book to show that like the parent had died in a car accident on the way to this thing, because you know most of the book is them getting into a relationship and like going back and forth in like present day and like past tense. So
kind of like jump forward, jump back.
Yeah, and then the end of the book, you know, the last like 80%, because I'm a Kindle reader, like 80% in, and it's like this big old like they died because you, and you're just like yeah. This was one of the books I remember I stayed up until 3 a.m. to finish because it just hit a point in the book, and I was like, I cannot put it down. I have to know what happened. Like, oh my gosh. Which I enjoy. It goes back to like the thriller, like it's a love story, and then bam, something crazy happens, and it's like, wow, that's fantastic. Yeah. So I do like Christina Lauren. It's probably one of my favorite authors because there's another book called The Unhoneymooners, which was good, and then Paradise Problem, which is another one of my favorites. But again, it's just the Paradise Problems was, you know, this rich guy pays off this poor girl to go pretend. Well, it's actually a whole thing. They like get married in college to save money. Yeah. Like just an arrangement to get married, so they had subsidized housing or whatever. And then fast forward, they have to go to a wedding because he never told his parents that they got divorced, or that they were whatever. And they go. She doesn't realize he's got all this money. His parents are like billionaires, and they go on this like crazy, extravagant, pretend like they're dating, and then they fall in love, and yada yada yada, and whatever. And then there's this plot twist on that at the end. You know. Yeah. I like that author.
So she's good.
She's
writer.
Good. She's a good writer.
Interesting. Do you like the kind of jump forward, jump back like style?
It depends on how it's written, but yes, I like the jump forth, jump back. And I also like two perspectives. I just finished a book. I just finished Part of Your World, and it was like back and forth between the man and the woman, and I like the two different perspectives. The only thing I don't like, and I know people don't love when their favorite books are turned into movies because it doesn't do it justice, but the way I read, I in my brain it's a movie. Like I'm obviously like they have faces, like so it's hard to kind of see it as a movie when they go back and forth in time, because I always think like, oh, how would this be turned into a movie? And it's hard to make it turn into a movie if you're going back like 10 years, because how would you do it with actors? That's like kind of how I see it. Yeah, that's just kind of crazy, but it's okay.
That's an interesting point. The perspective, Normal People, I believe that's the name. Normal People. It's like a kind of teenage love story. It's really interesting. Okay. It's like in the perspective of the boy and the girl. Yeah. And it's them kind of growing up and going through the world, but it'll kind of jump from like they're in the same stage of life, and then he's doing something different. And you're like, oh, how do you get here? And then it tells like her perspective.
Right. And then it like tells a story of between. Yes, I do really like that too, because my number one, not to skip to my number one, but my number one. My number one, it starts like in present day, and then it's going back in time to like show how they got to present day.
Yeah.
And then like they'll tell a plot of like how they're there, and then they'll go back to present day, and it's really interesting because of the way the story is like unfolding.
Yeah.
And like, and I do like when a book has a good hook. Like if the first two chapters are like, wow, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be harder for me to like abandon
Put
it
down.
because it's like this book. The first two chapters are they're going there to their happy place. This like house up in Nantucket with all their college friends, like whatever.
Yeah.
And she thought it was gonna be a girls' trip, and her ex-fiance is there, but they hadn't told anyone that they were ex-fiancés yet.
Yeah.
And like the first chapter is like, why is he here and why didn't he tell me?
Yeah.
Because now we have to fake that we are married or getting married when we just ended things. And then like, you know, the other friends are like, we're getting married here because this house is being sold. So it's like this crazy array of emotions for this one main character.
Uh-huh.
Like a good hook. You got me.
Yeah.
You got me hooked.
Yeah.
So.
That's an interesting way of kind of jumping right into it.
Right into it.
Yeah.
Because if you open a book up and it's just like BS, 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 it's like, okay, what is the point of this BS? You know?
I think too much detail is kind of like overkill.
I agree.
It's kind of like, it's just building.
I agree.
You can't really, you don't know where it's going. So
I agree.
it's like, not
I completely
really
agree.
catching me. You know?
I completely agree.
That's interesting.
Yes.
What kind of made that number one over the...
So this number one probably, well, I use Goodreads.
Mm-hmm.
There was 4-star books. Happy Place was the first book this year that I could not put down. It's the fastest book I ever read. I think I read it in 3 days.
Wow.
And I actually I have the hard copy, and I gave my mom it, like, right when I finished, and she also, like, could not put it down. And I think that when you have a book that good that you never want to put down, there's, like, a special place in your heart for it because you want to know the end, so, like, they did a good job of telling the story and wanting you to continue to read it.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fast reader, like major dyslexia over here. Like I never enjoyed reading ever. So the fact that I read a book in 3 days is
pretty impressive.
Really impressive for me, personally.
Yeah, it's a big personal win.
Especially working 40 hours a week. You're like, I don't have time to read. I don't have time to do anything. So, and also, I am in a happy relationship in no way. But like when they tell a love story in a way that you're like, wow, this is a movie. It's fun to like transform into their world of like their story and the dynamic between the friends and
be kind of immersed as the character.
Yes.
Like, similar to like any game would be. Like,
yes, exactly. And that was, they did a good job of just like telling the story and immersing immediately into the storyline. And it was like a big group of friends and they all, you know, dated each other, and I could see a lot of like my life in there in a way, but it was a good book. It was my favorite book this year. It was number one for sure, and I think probably that was because I finished it so fast.
Solid.
Yeah, I'm proud of my that achievement.
Yeah, how many books did you read this
19
year?
books this year.
Okay.
Which is probably not that much, really.
That's a pretty good amount. I mean, that's like. That's a book every other week almost. I mean, well, you're a little bit short of that, but like book every 3 weeks.
But I did read, what did I say, 4 or 5 during 75 Hard that I would not have ever read. But then that doesn't include the books I did not finish. I did not finish the one.
Well, then you probably have more like. If you combine your total page count, it'd probably be a lot higher.
Maybe.
Than like. Maybe. What the stats are showing.
And it's not December. It's not the end of the year yet.
No, you still have a couple of weeks.
And I'm halfway through the book I'm reading right now, which is called Yours Truly. So, like 20, maybe.
20? That's a pretty good.
Maybe 21 by the time I finish. I'm not sure.
Yeah, if you stopped putting down so many books, probably would have more, but...
Maybe.
Other than that.
But this is the first time I've ever read this many books in a year. I've never enjoyed reading.
Yeah.
Until really like this past year.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I have found that I'm becoming interested in my grandma hobbies. Like I've started knitting.
Yeah.
And I enjoy cross stitching and reading.
Well, I think those are interesting things. I mean, might as well do something.
I guess.
Like, something unique.
Sure.
Reading's it's a much better hobby than like sitting on your phone.
Much better.
I think that's the best way to frame it in like your mind of like, I don't really want to read. Because it can become a chore almost if
Sometimes.
you're like, oh, I have to read today. But it's also like, all right, I could either read 5 pages.
Right.
Or I could sit on my phone for like 15 minutes.
Exactly.
And it's like, I guess I should read. Because I like having the book at the end when it's like, you finally close it.
You
and
made
it's like,
it. Yeah, exactly.
I think that's a much nicer feeling than like you won't. It's kind of you said you don't ever get the time back,
right?
And so I think it's I think it's a cool hobby to have.
I
don't
enjoy
think you have
it.
to be super duper reader or anything.
No,
I think it's something fun to do.
That is the only thing I don't like about a Kindle is like one day when I have a home of my own, I do want like a whole wall of books like this.
Mm-hmm.
And when you read on a Kindle, you
don't
are
have
not reading a physical book.
You could put your Kindle on like the shelf.
You could, and it could just cycle through.
Yeah, just like cycle through your.
I don't think that.
I wonder if you get like a like the picture frame, like a digital picture.
Oh yeah, and just do the
and like put the Kindle linked up to it, so like scroll
there you
through
go.
that'd be super fun.
But I feel like there's something about like saying like, oh, I've read that book and this.
Well, there's
book
also
and this
something
book
about like if you wanted to read one of these, I could just hand you the book,
right?
And it's like you can take it and go read it.
Yes,
and you can pass it on to someone.
Exactly.
Versus like a Kindle, it's like. Here's the link to go.
Yeah, you can
go
buy it if you
or
want it.
buy it or whatever.
But I do enjoy turning all the lights off, having my brightness down to 0, so I don't have like the
eye strain and
yeah.
Something about that's probably nice.
And I don't have to have my light on to see my
it's probably
book.
more comfortable because you can really easily hold it like.
Oh, and I'm not having. I have to tap. I don't have to physically hold. And
Right.
you know, holding a book. Sometimes it's like
sometimes it's like that.
this. Sometimes it's like this.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to fold it back. I'm not sure if you're like Luke. You don't like to crease
try to not
thing.
crease the back.
You know, versus I'm just laying here and I'm like tap, tap, tap. I've even thought about you can get a clicker.
Oh, to like hold on.
And so I could be just laying in bed with my Kindle propped up, just click. Talk about lazy, but
that'd be a real
whatever.
Point, but whatever floats your boat.
Whatever floats your boat. But yes.
You can do. The last question, you kind of touched on it. So when you're reading, you're much more of like a visual person.
Yes, 100%.
Is that for like? I think you said like a movie, which I think is pretty normal for. So far, all the women that have come on have been very much like movie people.
Yes.
Luke, he does a lot of more nonfiction, but he described it still like movie-ish. So does that transfer when you read like nonfiction? Were you still like having imagery, like kind of
yes
scenes?
I am a total visual person. Like math was my favorite subject in high school and college because I could visually, write out whatever. Even like my job now, my new boss is very visual. We have whiteboard sessions where he just like scribbles on the whiteboard and it's just like here and here and then the graph and then this is over year and blah, 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 blah. I do better with that. So I think maybe that's why I enjoy doing a picture in my mind because it's like the visual element because there's not really visual elements of a book now that we're older and we don't read kids picture books anymore.
I read comic books still, so I don't really have a...
There you go, and that's okay. But
I still read kids.
Non-fiction books...
Are you picturing yourself as like
I guess...
Or do you just not really picture anything?
So like the Mel Robbins book, like she explained the theory and then she like would go through examples or like real life stories of how she used Let Them and then another story of how she used Let Them. So I think that, like I just pictured the stories that she was telling
as like people.
Or I do know Mel Robbins. I listened to her podcast well, so I know what her face looks like. So I was like, oh, I'm envisioning her and like what I imagine her children to look like and this said friend that she's talking about.
Yeah.
Matthew Perry book, yes, because like I know what Matthew Perry looks like, and I knew what he looked like when he was growing up, and
you kind of see him and place him in the scenes.
And then the disc assessment book that I read, I think it's called Surrounded by Idiots.
Could be.
Is the book that it's taken called. I can tell you when I go downstairs and look at my phone, but because it was talking about like different personality types, I would just associate like, oh, a D, that's someone, D, I think it meant dominance, like someone with those kinds of personality traits that I saw, like, oh, that is very much so like who I am, and then like I think analytical, and then like
Joe,
that's,
this was like
yes,
Susie,
and so I would just like every time they talk about like a D, I'd be like, oh, this is how I kind of am, or like an I, like
I know someone like that. And I can
so like that's
them.
Who that is.
Okay,
but I don't.
Interesting. So it's not so much. It wasn't at that point. It wasn't so much like a flowing movie. It's constant as much as like
we're referencing
thinking of
back to this
whoever
person.
is like giving the
But
that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm starting 75 Hard again January 1st.
Yeah,
because I miss the discipline of like being on top of my. I have to get up and get off my ass and doing it, and I'm gonna read some of Luke's nonfiction books, like Where's My Cheese? No, Hoot Stole My Cheese?
Pretty sure it's Where's My Cheese.
Actually, something like that. And then there's there's 4 books I grabbed when we were at his house before he came over here that I'm gonna take home.
That you're gonna, okay.
Because he likes all of his are nonfiction. Yeah. So for some reason. Yeah.
Good luck to you on that.
Thank you.
Glad to hear. Hope it still is a passion. And
hopefully so. A lot of the books I chose are thinner.
That's a good idea.
So I'm hoping then I can get rid of them and I can move on to the next book.
Feel more accomplished and you're like,
I've read 5 books. Yeah. They're 75 pages each, but
don't matter. Didn't ask.
I got it done.
No one asked.
Yeah. But I do miss it's harder to make time for my books I enjoy reading during 75 Hard because I have to read books.
You have so many pages to get through.
And I don't want to be bored. Like, I tried to start Atomic Habits at one point in time. Not during 75 Hard. I was like, I can't read this. I'm sorry. I don't understand what's going on, and I don't care.
Yeah, we talked about that. I think The Power of Habit's better.
Okay. But is that a big book? Not sure if I want to read a big book.
I don't know. I think it has very big font.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's more
Maybe I'd be into that one.
That's the other thing is finding a book that's like, oh, it's 200 pages, but it has like
huge
14
font.
fonts.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, all right, there's only like a paragraph per page.
Works for me when I have to read 10 pages of book because I'm like, oh, this is only 10 paragraphs.
I think anything that helps your mind like trick itself into like, oh, I'm reading so much more than I think I am.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's a great feeling.
Agreed 100%. That's why I do like
books that are like pages that long and like size 4 font, and it's like, let me take out a microscope and just like read this whole page, and it's like that just took me 5 minutes to get through this
one page. I know when Vaughn did 75 Hard, she read the Bible, 10 pages of the Bible, and I was like,
wow,
good for you, because I just could not. That's just
that's just so it's so.
I wish that I had the.
I mean, like, fair time to read it, I guess, but I would be so drained from. It's not even like
10 pages every day.
Yeah.
There's no breaks. 75 days.
Yeah. I guess just rip it. What's the top 3 books of your 2025?
So, given the state of our lovely world and our government and our lovely humanity that doesn't seem to want to exist at all times now, I read a lot. So like I have a Kindle and I get this like free book app, and so I read a lot of things that are kind of stupid actually, but they're free, so I'm like, okay, I'll read them. And then every once in a while it'll give me like recommendations for stuff. And this year I would say like the 3 that really have stuck out to me, I can't say that they were like my favorite necessarily. One I would definitely read. Well, I'd actually probably read them all again, but they all have seemed to kind of like give examples of things that are going on in our current climate that happened a long time ago. So they're all, with the exception, 2 of them are fictional, One is based on true events, but all three of them really could be real books, if that makes sense, like real life kind of things. So the first one is called The Nightingales by Kristen Hanna, which I totally thought Keely read, and she didn't. So she's going to have to, because she would love it. But
There you go.
when she finally has time to read.
Yeah.
But it's basically about back in the Holocaust times and how like there was a French resistance. And there's two sisters that, you know, kind of go their own ways as adults. And one is married and in the countryside and has two children. Her husband ends up fighting with the French resistance. And then the sister is like this young, beautiful, like life is always going to be lovely for me, super fun. And I get my way because I'm pretty. So when the Holocaust starts and they, you know, are starting to see like, you know, the Gestapo and the Nazis coming in and removing people from their villages, from the towns and stuff like that, both sisters kind of have unique experiences with it. And the book is kind of told from both sides. So like the one in the countryside, for example, her husband gets sent off, like I said, to fight with the French resistance. And so she becomes really close with her neighbor who happens to be Jewish, and their children are roughly the same age. So the kids are always together and all the things. So as the war progresses, you know, the German soldiers are coming out even to the countryside to, you know, find anybody that's Jewish to take them out. And so at one point they're kind of able to hide the neighbor and, you know, make her disappear for the day so nobody gets them. And then they come back, the Germans come back and end up taking over this woman's house. Because, you know, back then they basically could be like, hey, I like your house, we're moving in. And so Cap, son, I don't know, he's important, whatever his role is in that their military, but he kind of takes over her house and moves in. And so she has to be super careful at that point, you know, what she's doing, because she doesn't want to put her kids at risk. And he's real hostile and the whole bit. And like, while they're kind of starving, he's making her cook for him, but they can't eat and like all those kind of things. And then at one point they do come back for that neighbor. And she takes on, the neighbor does have a baby at some point during this. And so the woman takes the baby, claiming it to be hers. So that way that baby doesn't get sent to the concentration camps. And so it kind of just tells her story of what it's like, of these people basically taking over her life, being in her house, taking whatever they want to sell it, making her kind of basically like an indentured servant to them, because she has to cook, clean. If his soldiers come visit, she has to take care of them as well, and she really doesn't have a choice. And then ends up finding out later in the story that her husband is killed during the war. And then her story kind of goes on a path of, she starts, because of this one little boy that she took in, that she basically rescues other Jewish children throughout. And that's kind of how her story ends, even when the war ends, if she has, you know, saved all these other children and gotten them to safety, and kids kind of became her focus. And then on the other end, that sister that was so like, her life is a party and, you know, she's always going to get what she wants. She takes a totally different turn and joins the French resistance, and kind of uses her looks for a while to kind of get what she wants, because she can kind of manipulate like the German soldiers into thinking that she's, you know, just flighty and naive and just this pretty girl, but she's really kind of getting information. And then within her connections in the resistance, she ends up helping Allied pilots, you know, if they get shot down or they get behind enemy lines or those type things. She helping to get them across this like mountain range. And she has to come back to safety. And so she's known as the Nightingale, which is the name of the book, because that's like her code name for rescuing all these soldiers. And then ultimately they capture her. She ends up in a concentration camp. She does end up getting liberated, but by that point she's so sick from everything that happens in the concentration camp, she gets back with her sister, but she ultimately dies. So it's really just kind of a unique take on, it's real uplifting.
Not really like an uplifting story or anything.
No, but at the same time, it's like also like the spirit of resistance, and you know how women back then really didn't have a lot of power, but these two kind of maximize it in their own way. So it's actually a really good book, really not uplifting and very sad. But again, it kind of mirrors some things we're seeing today, unfortunately. That gets me kind of feisty, which is probably why I like the book.
There you go. Is that your number one, or are you just
I would
doing
say that's my number one.
number one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I would say so.
Okay, cool. So what's number two then?
So my number two is called The Yellow Life, and this one is based on some true events.
Mhm.
So again, not real uplifting,
Yeah.
but again, the power of women, which again, with climate and how life is going right now, I'm sure that'll be the next group attacked, and it is in some ways anyways, but whatever. This one actually kind of goes back to slavery times. So this one is about a girl who, clearly by the title Yellow, like she's a lighter skinned black girl who grew up on a plantation. Mom is a slave, but has we'll just say one of the nicer owners, I guess. And he had promised that when this little girl turned 18, she would be freed. So he allowed her, to learn to read and write, and things that typically were not allowed as slaves. She was allowed to live in the house. And so she did more of household work. Mm-hmm. And so she was kind of seen as more of the, I guess, uppity slave, which I know sounds horrible, but, not in the fields, not, So she's supposed to be freed when she's 18. And she has a boyfriend who also lives on the plantation, and they have all these plans and whatever. Well, then something happens where he passes on. Her mom then obviously has no more power because he's gone. So this girl actually ends up being sold into what's called the Devil's Half Acre, and it's owned by a guy who was a brutal slave trader. And he has a jail on his property, and it's horrible conditions, but he takes this infatuation with her and moves her into the house and makes her he calls her his yellow wife. So again, kind of now she's domestically enslaved with him and ends up having 3 children by him. And it tells this whole story of how he uses her kids against her. So if she doesn't do everything he wants, he'll threaten to sell them, or, to put them in harsher conditions, or all these things. And then she's kind of always in this position of the people who are in the fields and in the jail and those kind of things. They look at her like she's better than them and think she's better than them. So the people that should be more like her don't really like her. And then she can't be accepted by the white people because she's not them. Yeah. So, and then eventually she ends up where her boyfriend, who she thought was dead, ends up in this man's jail. Again, under really, really brutal conditions because he had tried to escape. And so she ultimately ends up trying to help him escape from that jail with her children to get them all to safety. And so eventually that is, what happens. And so again, yes, horrible story, but definitely shows the power of, first of all, of a parent and the things that they'll do for their children. Mm-hmm. Again, kind of that resistance. This must be my year of resistance or something. I don't know, but
it's an interesting genre that I didn't quite expect.
Yeah,
but
she definitely wants to fight back, and so real powerful to read, for sure. And like I said, that one's kind of based on true events too. So definitely a great book.
Interesting. It's interesting that your number 2 were historical fiction. Or, well, I don't know if it's historical fiction, but I guess history-based fiction.
Yeah,
I thought it would have been more.
I think that,
fun. Something other than that.
I mean, I really don't read a lot of fun. I would have to say, I definitely love suspense kind of books, typically, but they don't really stick with you. You know what I mean? It's kind of more you read it and you're like, okay, that was entertaining and that was fun. But I think these kind of things, when it involves the human spirit, that sticks with me more.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say they're always necessarily, like I said from the beginning, kind of not necessarily favorites, but they stick with me. And so I think that's kind of more important than some of those other ones. You know, you can read a book in a day if you really want to, but then it kind of is like you move on.
Yep.
You know, these ones kind of, like I said, they touch something of the humanity part.
You might like I think it's Mouse or Moss. It's like Maus. It's a
Okay.
graphic novel about
heard of
the
it.
Holocaust.
Yeah.
And so instead of it being like people, it's animals.
Mhm.
So it takes
Mhm.
away some of the kind of graphic idea of it
Mhm.
by transferring, by making it kind of animalized characters. But it still kind of tells the same takeaway of the kind of historical fiction idea of watching this family of mice move through kind of the Holocaust and Nazi Germany and whatnot. But it's pretty interesting. I mean, you'd probably read it pretty fast. So, you know, but it has pictures and
I'll have to check it
that's more
out.
fun.
I know it got banned from schools, so I know it's probably good.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, I have a copy of it if you want it. But yeah, it's
Okay,
pretty good.
cool. Okay, I'll read it.
What is number 3?
So number 3, also not super uplifting, because again, that's my
Very
MO
big theme.
here, I guess. Yeah. It's called Plain Truth. And it's about an Amish girl who has a baby and the baby dies at birth. And she completely disassociates and denies the whole bit. I didn't have a baby. I wasn't pregnant, like none of these things. Because it's out of wedlock. And you know, Amish people are not cool with that. But she ends up being defended by someone who used to be Amish and like grew up that way and then was not in it anymore. So again, it kind of, you know, tells me about like a whole different culture. You know what I mean? Like throughout the book, there's all these, you know, it ends up her brother had been shunned because he wanted to go to college. And so the family completely, you know, excommunicates him from them and they're not allowed to speak to him. And it ends up, that's how she ended up getting pregnant, was she went to visit him in college behind dad's back just because she didn't want to give up her brother. And so when she visits, she's in this college life. And while she still holds true to most of their basic principles, she meets somebody and obviously things happen. And then he's gone because he works for the college and they send him overseas. She denies this pregnancy to herself, has the baby, this whole bit. But it's really kind of interesting just to see how, you know, Amish people are here and live, you know, in various areas in the United States, but live a completely different life than we do. And where we're so used to, you know, everything's at a fingertip and we can get information super quickly. And, you know, we get frustrated when we lose signal and things don't pop up instantly and whatever. And so even her attorney in the story has to get like special permission to bring in a battery pack so she can log into her computer every once in a while to just get basic information, and how, you know, frustrated she is initially that she can't access anything. But then ultimately she gains this new perspective of simplicity. And we, you know, the way that all of us live, we don't have simplicity at all. You know, when babies, even 1-year-old, 2-year-old, they can work a phone better than most people. They're like, that simplicity of life is gone. So even like, you know, we talk about simple things like kids don't really play outside anymore. And, you know, we all drank out of hoses, and kids now are like, oh my God, I need my, you know, my Stanley cup with my filtered water. And, you know, so it's just kind of, those kind of things are interesting to me because we don't have anything like that anymore.
Yeah, there's something kind of like romantic about the idea of it, almost, of like not having so many constant stimulants and having it really focused in like
just life.
Life. There's something whimsical about it. There's also something about like, you know, you can't travel further than like, you know, 4 miles in a day, and it's like, well, that is kind of limiting.
Yeah, there's some good and bad there.
Yeah, there's some give and take that you get with it. But, you know, I mean, there is something to it of like, you know, you farm or you're building something, and every day you're actually having like a craft versus working Um, on an online project, you're not seeing an end result ever, and every
Right.
day I mean, it's kind of like construction almost. Of like every day you see some sort of progress. So there's
Mhm.
something nice to that, but then it's also like you have no hot like you can't just go and like you know surf the internet or like get
Right.
Amazon, or if I don't want like milk and cheese and like kind of limited on what other things
Yes.
you can have. Um,
And
but
even
yeah.
like just the community of it, and we don't really have
Hmm.
that, and that was why even when I said the wedding night when you guys were on the hotel room, and I was like, always hold what you guys have, because that group of friends that you guys have is such a community, and that's so rare
Hmm.
now.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like their whole world is based on community, and truthfully that doesn't exist much anymore.
Yeah, I would say that's the romantic part of it.
Yeah.
It's the forced community aspect that hopefully you like everyone and
You hope.
in your in your Amish circle of. I have no idea how many people are in an Amish town, but I can't imagine it's that big.
Right.
Like 1,000-ish, maybe. I wouldn't think more than
Maybe.
that. Like I don't know. I don't know what the average Amish community works. I've never thought
Now that I
about
don't know.
it. No. That's interesting. Interesting selections. What were the 3 titles? The
The Nightingale,
mm-hmm,
The Yellow Wife, and Plain Truth.
in plain truth.
Mhm.
Okay, interesting. Um, yeah. Are those? Where would you put them? Like for your all-time, kind of books?
I read so much; it's so hard to.
Like if it wasn't just for the year, would you include only like Nightingale?
I don't know. They're all so like powerful in their own way. I think
Hmm.
if I had to eliminate one, I would probably get rid of The Plain Truth. And if we're talking about like all time, I know this is so corny, but I freaking love the book The Outsiders. Like I've always loved that.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and
Yeah.
so there's so many though over because I read a ton.
Hmm.
That's kind of like my escape. Where most people are like, "Oh, let me watch Netflix," which don't get me wrong, I do that as well. I tend to read a lot too, so it just kind of depends on the mood. And like I said,
Yep.
based on what I was thinking about this, I was like, this must be my like resistance kind of year.
Yep.
And it just kind of depends on, I guess, what's going on in life too. But yeah, The Outsiders is probably one of my all-time faves.
Mm, gotcha. You don't have an Excel list made of all the books you've read and then rank
No,
them?
I do.
Oh,
I do.
no.
I do not. You got that?
I don't know who would do that.
I can't imagine you or my daughter.
I don't know. It might be my list. Keely doesn't know how to work Excel enough to do
Oh,
that.
okay. Great.
Curiously, one curious question, and then
Mhm.
my last question. When you read, do you see it as like a movie playing through your head, or like real imagery, like kind of
I'm in it.
flowing in it?
I'm in it.
That's
Hmm.
interesting.
Like,
Okay.
I think sometimes when you read something and then it becomes a movie,
Hmm.
I'm disappointed, not because I know the story and not because they necessarily change it somewhat, but people never look like I want them to.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
almost
interesting.
like, yeah, and it's almost like if it's a really good book, I get really annoyed when someone then talks to me because it like pulls me out of what I'm in. So yeah, I mean, I guess I could look at that as like a movie going in my head because in my mind I see things, you know what I mean? And that makes it a good book. If they can get you in it to where you're feeling what those people feel, or you're seeing what they're describing, those kind of things, that's when it's a good one.
So the imagery, like, there's
Yeah.
fully like, okay, it's
A
interesting
whole thing.
because Keely does the same thing. For me,
Hmm.
it's not nearly close to that. It's more like a. That's why I don't read a lot of fiction. Mostly. Um, I would say like I can pull. So if there's a movie like Harry Potter, I watched the movies before I read the books, and so when I
Hmm.
read all the books, I pictured it gave me a picture to like think of, because
Hmm.
otherwise when I'm reading it, it's just blank.
Oh,
There's
yeah, no,
no
I got a
like
whole thing going
imagery.
on.
So there's
Mm-mm.
no imagery going on. But it's just interesting. I'm curious. Everyone's going to get the same question, because it's a little survey of
Uh-huh.
my own, and I'm curious what happens with everyone. But yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. I appreciate it.
Quite welcome.
I'll let you get back to your fabulous Wednesday. Cheer.
Well, this shouldn't be too long because
Yeah,
I only
one
wrote
book.
one book.
All right, Maddie.
I did read more, but this was the only one that I could fully remember.
Okay. Well, what are you got any? You want to do some honorable mentions right now?
Survive the Night. Oh, I know. As the page turn, I get all my books there.
Is that the name of the store?
Yeah, As the Page Turns.
Oh, that's the
name
TR
of the
store.
store in Travelers Rest.
That's the page turn.
And now they're right off of that highway in Travelers Rest, whatever that takes you all the way down. You know, the one that takes you up to Asheville?
25?
25. They're right off of 25, yeah.
By Lake Spring? Where?
Yeah, well, not by Spinks, but on that same road, yeah. As you're passing through TR. It's right by Pizza Hut. Nope, wrong place. Pizza House.
Pizza House.
Yep.
Oh.
It used to be like a yoga studio. It's been a lot of different things.
Oh, that's them now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Alright, so as the page turns.
As the page turns.
I meant like honorable mentions though in like the other books that you read this year.
Oh.
But
Oh,
that's
yeah.
fine.
No, I read another one called Tulips.
Tulips?
Mm-hmm.
What do you like about it?
Tulips on these nuts! Is that getting posted?
That might get cut. I don't know if that's gonna make it.
I looked that. I had to get ready to send me that right before I got on here. So I needed a new one. Because you already heard Sock on. So I couldn't use that one. But other honorable mentions. Actually, Mom had the other one that I really liked. I liked The Woman in the Window. But I think I read that a few years ago. So maybe that's not a new one. I quit a lot of the ones that once I predict that once I know what's going on.
You just like stop reading them?
Yeah, I'm not interested anymore. Or if it gets too like in the emotions,
You just are done.
I quit. I really like the thrillers.
Did you read like all thrillers?
I read
What's
like
like your
a
split?
soupy one, you know, like a sad soupy one.
Soupy one.
I don't remember what it was called, but it got too soupy, so I quit.
Okay, I don't know if I've heard it called soupy before.
Maybe it's soppy. Soppy.
I think soppy would make a little bit more sense.
Yeah, it's soppy. It's not soupy. Whoops. Soppy.
So outside of thriller and soupy, what was the other ones?
Golly, what else did I read? I read The Mothers that she had as well.
Yeah.
Also a little soupy. What else did I read? I read a lot at the beginning of the year.
Was it all like fictional though?
All fictional. I haven't gone into the nonfiction. I'm not opposed to it. Maybe if they read fast, but I always predict that they're gonna read kind of slow.
Mm.
Like, is it a page turner? If there's like a page turner, yeah, I would dive in. But otherwise,
I read
okay,
one
like
about a
they're
girl that
slow.
escaped North Korea, and that was pretty.
But that's quick. I can already tell that.
It was
that would
also
be, like,
quick. It was
fast
like
paced.
200 something pages.
Yeah, like that I would read. I'm trying to look around and see like what I would not read. Let me show you all the books I would read. Would read that. Would read that. I don't really want to read that. Yeah.
You're not going to read about Michael Jordan?
No.
You read Mike Tyson.
Probably not that either.
Okay.
Let's see.
Vanderbilt?
Vanderbilt what?
The Vanderbilts?
Oh, the Vanderbilts? I'm actually interested about them with being like connected to the Biltmore and stuff. I'd be
their
interested on that.
I have Phil Knight's book.
Phil Nye?
Phil Knight, the creator of Nike.
Interesting.
Kevin Hart.
See, I don't want to read someone that just like they got famous and decided to write a book. You know how they all like now write a book.
Everyone wrote a book now.
So I'm not interested in
those. Steve Jobs is a pretty long book.
The Vanderbilt one
It's
would be
good.
the one I'm interested in.
Vanderbilt's pretty good. Anyways, let's get into your favorite book of the year. Number one, Survive the Night.
By Riley Sager.
Okay.
What, do you want me to give you a little synopsis?
Yeah, you can do a little synopsis.
Oh, wow.
That you can't.
Gosh, this is going to be hard. Well, it starts off, it's set very clearly in 1991.
Okay.
It clearly says here on the back.
I
But
have to
it's...
flip it over and read it all.
No, I mean, I knew it was 90s because it's like playing a Nirvana song on the radio. And so I already liked that off the bat.
Yeah.
And then the main character, she has like some previous trauma where she can't like tell if things are real or if she's going into like her she has like visions, but they can last for like 45 minutes almost. So, something where it's like she can't tell reality from her visions.
Yeah.
So it's like that's kind of carried out throughout the whole story. And then her best friend, she's at college, and her best friend has been killed, or she was murdered. And so the murder that took place at the campus, they took like a tooth from her friend that was killed, which was also like similar to the previous murder that also happened, where like a tooth was removed. So there's like a connection there, I think. Maybe I know that happens. I know it happens on campus, and I want to say there was like a connection to it. And then, yes, there was. I want to say there was a connection, but I'll move along. And so, anyways, she wants to go home for a holiday. She doesn't have a ride, so she like puts a poster up because it's the 90s, and so she's gonna like basically hitchhike home. And then this guy who's, I want to say he's more just affiliated with the university, like janitor or something like that. Like I don't think he's an actual student, and so he's already a little bit suspicious because she doesn't know him like that on campus.
Yeah.
And then he ends up driving her home, and as the time goes on, like they're in the car for a lot of the story, but this is where they're uncovering, and she starts to believe that he's the murderer of her best friend. And then, let's see, that's when the visions start kicking in, so she can't quite tell if like this is happening, or like she starts having weird visions, and she can't tell like how much time has gone by. And then they end up at this diner. How long do I give the whole story, or just like do I give the ending?
No, don't give the ending.
Okay. Well, I guess
you can probably stop. That's like halfway or something.
Yeah, like at the diner, things start shifting. That's where like the big shift is, and it reveals who her ride is, and like the affiliations there, and who's really behind it, why he's there, and
so it all comes together, and it's
and then it starts moving quickly, because then they start having more location stops, and that's where it gets nice. Like more.
So it becomes very much like after that scene, it's very much like you're kind of like reading pretty fast.
Yeah, but it has a really good ending too.
That's an interesting idea of like the.
Well, it sounds boring because you think it's all going to be in a car. It's like nobody wants like a one scene book, but that's where it like develops and the characters develop, and I don't know. It leans into like its time, and I don't know. I like things that are like very much in their decade, and I felt like it was a good one on that.
I just thought it was interesting because of the like whole idea of like seeing like the trippiness of it.
Yeah.
Of like, am I seeing things? Am I not?
Yeah,
seeing
like
things?
she can't tell how much time has gone by. So how long have they been in the car? Or like, have they missed a turn? You know, like things like those kind of things that. And then also being in the car with someone you suspect for murder. Yeah,
I would say so. What was it like, did you like it because of the writing style, or just like the story behind it, or what was kind of like the...
I picked this book because I naturally like this author. I have read other things by this author, and I like thrillers, so obviously I gravitated toward it. And then I love the cover. It's just a cool cover. And it also, like, the first thing that it writes on the book on the back is, like, Nirvana's on the tape deck. So I was like, well, I like Nirvana, so I was like, I guess I might like that.
Yeah, okay. Well, reasonable analysis. Do you have anything? I'll ask you. Well, I have two more questions. Do you plan to read fiction more in the coming year?
Yes.
Stay on fiction?
I'm going to stay on fiction. Well, just after how many books I said I don't want to read off of your nonfiction.
Sounds like fiction is...
Well, I think I'm going to lean more into... I always said I liked mystery, but it's really not mystery. Like, I like a little bit of thrill in there as well. Like, something that keeps me, like, a little bit sweaty, like, a little nervous. I like reading that kind of stuff rather than just, like, I don't know, like, mystery. Is he with another woman? You know, like, those, like, very, I don't know, soupy books. So I like thrillers. So I'm planning to read more thrillers in the coming year.
Okay.
And find more by this author if they make more.
Have you read that author before?
Yes, I just couldn't remember the book that I read by them.
Oh, okay. So you've read their writing style.
Yes.
Yeah,
what did I read by them? Gosh, it's gonna bother me now. Can I look it up? Do you have a phone? Okay.
So you liked them before though?
Yes, but it's gonna bother me now what book it was. I feel like when I first started reading, like several years ago, I guess, I feel like this was one of the first authors that like I got into.
Yeah.
And then this was like a newer one when I went to the bookstore.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
So I got that.
When you're reading, are you very much a visual person? Like you're seeing kind of the characters and the scenes in your head? Or are you like a kind of it's black, not seeing anything, or somewhere in the middle?
Somewhere in the middle. Like, some people will be like, I can't watch the movie because the character in my head is so different than what's on the screen. And for me, that doesn't happen. Like, I don't think it's, well, it's more of, like, the essence of, like, the setting, or, like, this I have pictured, well, it's Survive the Night, so obviously I'm picturing nighttime, like, dim lights, you know, like that kind of thing.
Kind of the cover.
Yeah, I know the covers, that's a bad example. But even, like, the gas station, like, I have a gas station in mind when I was describing that scene, like, I'm picturing one from my life, and so if they went to one that looks like a QT or something, that would, like, throw me off a little bit. But I'm not one of those people that were, like, bothers me. Like, I just have to stop it. Like, it's too different from the book.
But so you're seeing more like
things that I can relate in my life.
So you're not so much creating a new world in your head. You're more pulling like examples that you can think of.
Yeah, I mean, a gas station is an easy one because we've all been to a gas station.
Yeah, like a dimly lit gas station. You can kind of think of something.
In the middle of nowhere. Like, we've all stopped at like a
idea.
gas station we wish we didn't have to stop at, but you're like deadly out of gas.
But an idea for like this girl, I have no like frame of reference.
But like the campus, I'm not picturing Clemson. You know, like I'm picturing some arbitrary, like something that I would picture like old timey. And so if they put her in something that looked like Clemson, I'd be a little bit thrown off.
Well, I feel like the scenery is easier to create.
I get very into the scenery.
I think the characters are where people differ the most.
Yeah.
Like I cannot create a character unless like you give me a picture of them.
Well, now that you say that, it's like I am always looking through the character's eyes. So the main character, I never visualize them because I'm like, I rarely visualize them. I visualize like what they're seeing.
Did you picture like the other guy and the janitor guy?
Yeah, like I have a clearer picture of him. Yeah, like taller. You know, like I can give him like I could describe what I'm looking at there. For the main character, I couldn't really describe her because I'm picturing. Like, I'm watching the road from her eyes, and I'm looking over at the driver.
So you're, like, first person.
Yeah, I read in first person.
I'm reading, like, I'm the main character.
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting.
Maybe that's why I always want to be whatever this person's doing, because I'm, like, picturing that. Like, I'm doing it myself.
So you kind of take on their, like, world.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, cool.
Do you do that?
No.
Well, what do you do?
Well, everyone's done it differently so far. There haven't been really many. I'm very scenery, but I don't read a lot of fictional, so it's not really like.
So you can kind of like, I mean.
The scenery I'll relate to, but the characters, I don't really like, unless I get a picture of the character, I don't like have an idea of what they look like.
None of them.
No. Not like really any of them in the book. Like I can't create a character, I should say. I can, like, think of a reference of, like, pulling someone I've seen in a movie or, like, in real life and picture, like, make them that character.
Yeah.
But I can't create, like, there's no, like, new character there.
Yeah.
And also it's not flowing in my head.
Yeah.
It's, like, if I'm reading a specific scene, I might, like, think of the imagery once.
Yeah.
But then it's just kind of, like, a watercolor almost of, like, kind of Like, it's not really like there's never like a vivid picture that I'm thinking of.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if it changes though, like based on the set. Because like now that I'm thinking about this one, like I picture very, very close because it's in such tight quarters, like it's in a vehicle versus, you know, they're flying all over the world or something. So it's like I picture like hands or like, you know, like something, if he had something in his pocket that's like suspicious, like it's almost like I'm zoomed in looking at that because that's what their focus is on. So it's like maybe I don't have like a full, like, you know, what he's wearing. Well, I think it describes what he's wearing, but like I don't have a full picture, but it's like I'm like zoomed in. Like if it's like, then he, you know, turned off the car immediately or something. Like I can like zoom in and like see exactly.
See like them turning off the car and like them getting in.
Yeah, and I have like a full description of like the hand or something.
Interesting. Well, cool. All right. Well, thank you. All right. So, Dad, for your, are you doing one book or two books?
Well,
or do you have a couple?
I was prepared for 2 books. I didn't really know what the number of books were.
Okay, well, I guess
I could do more because this event made me look through all my books because everything I've read for the most part's been on Kindle, so I have.
Oh, so you have it all saved. Well, you want to do 3 books?
I'll try to do 3. I
Okay,
have.
so you have your 1 and 2. So then, what's your third book for the year?
Well, I thought I'd just pick something that kind of just stood out above the rest. And when I say it stands out, it's not so much that it's better, really, but it just stands out for some particular reason that, probably just internally me. Yeah. But the books I were interested in talking about are the most recent ones I read. And I think probably the most interesting thing about the book is how I came to read the books. And I think probably a lot of people who read get into this sort of little, I don't know what you call it, rut that I was in, where I sort of blackballed an author for the wrong reasons. And who I'm referring to is Stephen King. And not because I don't like Stephen King, it's just that I, in my own mind, based on maybe seeing some of the movies that were made from his books, and I think I read Pet Sematary or something, but I had him classified as someone who is in horror, the macabre, stuff like that. And I don't have anything against that type of book, but they don't appeal to me. So for decades, I just assumed that's how he was. And that's what he wrote about. And I think I sort of sold him short too, because I think since I sort of classified him in just sort of a horror story writer, that I didn't give him credit as an actual author. And I'm learning that he's actually very talented and unique as an author, in my opinion. But anyway, so I don't remember exactly how I came across this novel that I read. It's called Fairy Tale.
Oh, is that the does it have the eye on the front of it? That blue? Yeah, it's that book. I have it over there.
Yeah. So I'd never read a Stephen King book like that. This book, Fairy Tale, is not any of those things I just said. It's actually kind of a nice story, and what I like about, I'll tell you that I've read some more now. And the one I'm reading now is another Stephen King. It's a whole series called The Dark Tower.
Oh, so now you're like reading some.
So now, because I realize there's a whole world out there that he does in a unique way that's really pretty cool. And it's not all just horror and, blood and guts and whatever. So anyway, I read Fairy Tale, and I liked the story because it kind of is what the title says, really. It's his version of a fairy tale, and it has sprinkled into it Jack and the Beanstalk, and just you can see little, elements that seep into this story from just classic old fairy tales. But he does it in a good way, and I thought it was a really nice story. I don't know,
just don't tell the ending of it, or if you want to give like an I think you kind of did.
I can kind of do an overview. It tugs on your heartstrings a little, but it's the main character is a boy named Charlie, and he has a rough upbringing. He and his dad both have a rough upbringing. They started off as a really warm, healthy, good family, enjoying one another and having good times. And then when he was roughly 7 or so, his mother was killed in a drunk driving hit and run, and just like that.
Yeah.
His dad's a widower. He's got no mom, and his dad took it really hard. Became an alcoholic and became pretty much not just incapable of being a father, really, but needed to be fathered by Charlie. So Charlie's kind of raising himself and his dad through all this, and it went on for about a good 10 years, and somewhere when you get to where the book starts taking off, Charlie's now 17. He's in high school, and you can tell that his dad dealt with his pain and loss with alcohol, and become an alcoholic, and just disconnected from life. And Charlie, he dealt with his almost the opposite. He became an overachiever, top-notch student, top-notch athlete, football player, star football player, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think everything was working for him for the wrong reasons. I guess you would figure out later in the book. But the other element of the story shows up in that in their little town in Vermont, at the top of the hill is this old, dilapidated, scary mansion that, you know, every kids take wide berths around this thing. It just looks scary, feels scary, and there's a dog named Radar that's a ferocious German Shepherd as far as they're concerned. And they hardly ever see the guy inside who's named Howard. And when they ever do, he's very kind of gruff and aloof and not pleasant. So he's made no friends in town.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so the thing that kickstarts the story is Charlie one day is walking home and is going by that house, and he hears some moaning, something.
Yeah.
And so he you know, with trepidation opens the squeaky old dilapidated gate to the dilapidated yard to the whatever to go see what's going on, and he finds that Howard is at the bottom of the ladder. He'd been up on the roof bell, and you know, he's really hurt himself bad, broke his hip.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he calls it in, and then somehow he figures out that Howard has no relatives, has no one to help him. So he's at his heart, he's a good kid. He goes in to help. And before you know it, not only is he coming in to helping him, you know, at the hospital while he's there and recuperating, but he also is helping with the dog Radar. It turns out Radar is a great dog and loves him, and he loves Radar. Radar's getting old now, so Radar isn't as ferocious as she used to be anyway. But still, they're good friends. And then Howard comes back, and he quits football, takes care of Howard, and they actually they start off very, clashy and not many words and not a lot of warmth, but it actually develops into a really strong friendship, and Howard, reveals to him things, and the story goes on from there, and then a big adventure, and it's really a good book, and a lot of trials and tribulations. And
so it's not how you would necessarily think of fairy tale to kind of...
Yeah, I don't want to say a whole lot more because what I said
is like a mystery.
And what I said is a fair amount, but if you read it, it just opens up into this world.
Whole new.
And that's kind of what my thing, really. My genre is, genres are science fiction and fantasy because they appeal to my imagination. I like worlds that are other than our own. It's just escapism. I just like it. So that happens here. You know, it starts off in our world, but then it just goes really cool.
So really the storytelling, it seems like, was the best. Best part of it.
Yeah, both are important.
You think his writing style? Did you find that appealing at all, or was it?
Well, if I just sit here thinking about it, I put a lot of thought into this. What I think makes a book good, but I would say there's three things. You mentioned a few of them. One is, it has to be a good story.
Story is one,
but
my point of a fictional story is that if the story's bad, that's impressively bad. It's a fictional story.
I mean, you're just you're down at that point.
I mean, that's impressively bad. That is like the bare. That's the bare minimum.
Yeah, true. And you can't, if it's bad storyline, then you almost can't escape it. So So maybe that's first and foremost. But then I think, for me, almost world building really is next for me. The way they describe the world. It's a tricky thing because you got to give enough to spur the imagination of the reader, but you just don't want to do too much because then the reader doesn't get the joy of putting in the little nuances of their own in there. I think that's why people oftentimes read a book, they don't like the movie as good as the book because your mind is cast the characters in this book to some degree, and if they don't match with the movie, and they oftentimes don't, then it just doesn't feel quite right. But yeah, so I think the world building's good. And then I think just a bonus is gifted ability to just use words and prose. And then, speaking of Stephen King, I didn't give him this credit, but he is really an interesting writer, in my opinion, because both of these books I'm reading, the one I read and the one I'm reading now, he has a way of he'll take language and write it to match the world he's built, because this language, although we can perfectly understand it, it's clearly not just our conversation, everyday English. Like
Yeah.
like a lot of books I've read, they're still good books, but they'll be talking like you and I would right here, and they're in some crazy world that doesn't even exist, and its future, and it just
doesn't necessarily fit to what is going on around them.
Well,
the characters aren't forming to their world.
Well, the style of speaking of the characters is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The way he writes it, that speaking is just another element out there that an author can use, and many authors don't do that well. But he does.
Yeah.
It's hard to, you just have to read, some Stephen King, I guess, to know what I'm talking about. But he just does a really good job of that kind of thing. So all in all, I definitely enjoyed that book, but I'm enjoying the second book, which is a series called The Tower. And I think he began writing these books back in like 98, late 90s. And started with A Gunslinger. I read that one. I'm on the fourth. I think there's 9.
Wow.
And the next few move along, but I think he would just write one every now and then, every few years, I think.
And just kind of keep releasing them as...
Till at least like 2012 anyway. I know I've seen one at 2012. I don't know if that was the last one or not. But anyway, it's occurred over a long period of time. So it's going to be interesting to see how the books evolve, just both in terms of the plot and characters, but maybe even I'll see something, evolving with his writing style. I don't know. But so far, I really enjoyed that one too. And that book, do you want me to talk about that one a little bit?
Was that your favorite, or is that your favorite one?
It's just different than the fairy tale.
Oh, it's Fairy Tales. Fairy Tale was number 2.
That's the first one I read.
Oh,
that has nothing to do with the Tower. It's a standalone novel.
Yeah, but on for the year, for 1, 2, 3.
Ranking them.
Yeah.
I guess I'd have to rank it first because I haven't finished the Tower.
So Fairy Tale's number 1.
Yeah, I'll give it number 1.
Okay.
And then the other one I'll talk about, I'll probably give it number 2 just because it's sort of it is definitely a different genre.
Okay.
But I'll talk about it third. I'll just keep on Stephen King now.
Yeah, you can keep going with Stephen King.
So the thing I like about the Tower so far is that you can tell that Stephen King has borrowed from the Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns. What made Clint Eastwood an actor were those things he filmed over in Spain, and he plays the kind of the man of few words. What's the other thing I can use to describe Clint Eastwood, because it describes the gunslinger in the Stephen King series. Just man of few words, a man of no name. I mean, a lot of times he'll go through an entire movie and he doesn't even have a name. Few words, no name, and he does a lot of what you get from him are just his expressions and his actions, of course, and whatever, but there's just something intriguing about that. The lone wolf, the lone warrior, the man of no strings, no attachments, no name. There's just something appealing about that in terms of just an escapism. So what I'm finding from Stephen King is he's sort of taken that and run with it, so that this series that I'm reading is taking that character, but he's adding backstory in there. In other words, why did Clint Eastwood end up like that? What made him? It's really cool because and he's doing it in an unpretentious way. It's an interesting way that he's doing it. And his books, it's a slow simmer. They're good and they don't drag, but he doesn't rush it. He just lets a lot of stuff build, and you really start getting to feel like you really know the characters in these things, and it is really interesting to see what would make a person like that.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what's happening here.
Okay, so
anyway.
Yeah, I'm interested to read his. I have 2, the Fairy Tale I have, and then 11/22/63, which is about if JFK didn't get killed.
Ooh,
which I think will be interesting. I haven't read either of them, but I think
That's an
they're about to be
interesting
interesting. Yeah.
I might have to read that myself.
Yeah. So number 3 was, or number.
That was
one.
number 2. The
Number 2.
series, and I'm on number 4 of 9 books.
Oh, wow. So
So it's be a while.
got quite a ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
For your other book of the year.
Okay, it's called Demon Copperhead.
Demon Copperhead by who?
Well, let me pull it up because this one I read. I actually didn't read this year; it was the year before. But I just like the book.
Yeah,
and I like it because it's different from the genre I was just talking about. And I do that when I'm reading. You know, I'll get at some point I'll get a little tired of the fantasy sci-fi stuff, and I'll read autobiography, or I'll read nonfiction of some kind, or I'll just read something that's mystery. And this one doesn't really fit any of those things. This one is here it is, Barbara Kingsolver. And I don't know what caught my eye about it, other than I do remember it was on Oprah's Book of the Month Club.
Oh.
And I don't even remember how I came across it, but I don't know, for whatever reason, I decided to read the synopsis, and it sounded sort of interesting. What I liked about it is that I like stories about the how a baby develops into a young adult, or even going on past that. But I think the first 20 years of a person's life are so interesting. I enjoyed the interview you had with Sam's wife's. Why am I blanking on her?
Kelly Hunt. Yeah.
Kelly Hunt. Sorry, I was having a brain block there, but he was so interesting, and I think that lots of people have that kind of situation where you look at them at 50 or even 30 or 40, and you would never believe what happened. Yeah, from 0 to 18 or so, or 19. But that was really important. That created all that came later. You know, and I think it's a little bit good for people to hear, especially now we have such an unforgiving society, that people need to hear those stories, and definitely nonfiction, true stories, to know that you don't have to write people off. Yeah. In those first 18, 20 years, because they're struggling or who knows what, and they're just doing stupid, irrational things that you can't understand. And you're judging from
your point of view from
when you're 50 or 60 or even 30 or 40. You're so much more mature then. But so anyway, I like books like this, and that's what this book is. It is fiction, but the main character is Demon Copperhead, who I don't remember all the dysfunction of his family, but he's brought up in a dysfunctional family. And you can tell, he's got all the threads of being a good kid, but he's just in a really bad situation. It's in some rural part of Tennessee, like an hour out of Knoxville. I think Knoxville is the biggest city near them. They would occasionally go to Knoxville for whatever reason, but otherwise they are way out. He lived in a trailer, beat up trailer, and but to see how he sort of the struggles he had, and then just sort of the random acts of kindness and random acts of chance that turned his path from over the edge to just bad stuff, that just tipped him just enough to keep him afloat until he could get through all that. And then how it turned out in the end. And I kind of like the stories about, he's another one who, he's a big kid, and, no financial, advantage of any kind. Yeah. And so what do? He's a big kid. They throw him in football. He's a star. And, so that's working for a little while. But I'm glad that he ultimately goes just a different pathway, and he finds his joy in a completely different way than that. That was just kind of really probably a crutch, really, when you think about it, but a necessary crutch. If he wasn't playing football, he would have been dealing meth, and maybe strung out on meth, and maybe even, died before he got out of high school. And same thing with the first book I talked about. That kid, he was doing well in high school, but he's doing well for the wrong reasons. Like I said, he's just kind of putting salve on a wound. And it was interesting to see him go from, you see these guys that seem to have it all. They're big, tall, strong athletes, and you think the world is their oyster.
Yeah.
And you sell them short in terms of every other aspect. Brains.
Yeah.
Literary knowledge and interest, artistic interest, all those things. You just kind of write him off because he's a jock, plays football, and it's interesting to see nonfiction and fiction that kind of shows you, well, no, it doesn't. That isn't necessarily what's going on, and there are plenty of people that they're not that one-dimensional. I think we make people one-dimensional. I made Stephen King one-dimensional in my own mind.
Yeah.
So I think things like that are interesting.
So so the whole book of that was more like a coming of age kind of.
Yeah, it was a surviving of his childhood, kind of, sort of, and but it also showed. What's good about that book is it shows how significant some things that appear so insignificant in the moment, especially to the positive influence like a teacher or a friend or a relative might do in that one little moment.
Yeah,
how insignificant it might feel to them, or to maybe to other people that took note of it.
Yeah,
that it has no bearing on how absolutely critically important it was to the kid, the character, whatever. And that's true in real life, not just fiction. But to see how, and I think we all can look back and find those moments. I know I have a few where it was crucial. It was the tipping point between that or that.
It's interesting to just having a book on the focus of kind of that.
Yeah,
it's just unique to have that as like a.
It was well written as well. It was a good book.
Yeah.
I think you might enjoy it. It was a good book.
It's interesting to write that.
But it was not science fiction. It was not.
Yeah.
It was just a book about life.
Yeah, but that's interesting to write a fictional book about life. Like this is not. It's not very common.
Well, I think it forces a lot of people who have the luxury to have time to read and been in a family, a situation where maybe it was supported enough to where they actually do read, are in a position that's not anything like that. Yes. So it's pretty easy to not know that or think about it or ignore it or who knows what, not even intentionally ignore it. You're just not conscious of it. And then you read something like this and you might check yourself about assuming things about people. And a lot of times, our society wants to punish people for being poor. It's like it's your fault you're poor. It's whatever. Well, a large part of it is we're just lucky we weren't born into that situation. It's anyway. I think things like that are good for all of us to read about and bring into our consciousness, because we tend to it just doesn't
think about
rise
it
to consciousness otherwise.
To wrap it up on one last question, when you're reading, are you very much visually having a character made in your head and a scenic backdrop, almost to like a movie-esque reel, comparatively to maybe like a more, say like blackness and just kind of words on a page as your spectrum, or somewhere in there?
I'm more movie-esque. I can recall back when I was younger, like, oh, geez, the younger I was, the more vivid my imagination was, and the more movie real-like it was in my mind, and my dreams were the same. As I've gotten older, it's gotten less and less and less that way. Like now, it's still sort of movie-esque, but it's hard to describe what it is. I sort of have definitely a gestalt of what each character is, and I say gestalt because it's almost that level in my mind. It's gestalt meaning sort of this mishmashy blend of visual and instinctual or whatever, I don't know, feeling. So I definitely have that now. It's more of that. But when I was younger, it was like
vivid picture.
Movie,
like an actual very vivid
Huh.
So it's very much of when you read a character, you can picture and create someone for it. Maybe not through the years, it's fade to a degree, but you very much have an idea of what that is in your mind.
As we're talking and I think about it, I think when I was younger, I had a very visual definition of the character in my mind and the scenes and all that. But now I don't have that so much, but I think I have more of the essence of the character. Like if the like now when I see, if I was to see a book made into a movie, it would be more of the mannerisms and the just everything about the personality of the person other than how they
Very much so, like kind of traits and personality.
Yeah.
Very much kind of how they're act. It's very much the action would have to be more than like the actual character.
Yeah.
Physically fitting what you saw.
Yeah, I would say, and you know, not just their character and personality, but really their essence. Like it's hard to describe what it is. I think I sense, but I can just look at a movie that came from a book I read, and certainly how the character looks does matter. But but they might have the basic look, but they're just not acting right. It's it's like. I think I'm now keying more on that.
It's not fitting the persona that was kind of created for them.
Yeah, so I think there's the visually how they look, and then there's that when you're kind of looking at characters in a movie that were taken from a book you read. And I'd say when I was younger, the physical characteristics were way more in my mind, and this part was maybe less important, and it's just slowly flipped. Now the importance is that, and the physical not so much. I don't know what to make of that. That's just what's happened as I got older.
Interesting. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay. Kiwi. What's your third favorite book of the year?
Well,
3 is number 3.
Yeah, that's how it works. I read 4 books this year, and they were all from the same series. So I'm just ranking the series, basically.
Well, which one did not make it?
The 4th one.
What was the 4th one called?
A Court of Frosted Starlight.
Okay.
I did not like it. It was the shortest one. I was really excited because it was short. The other 3 books were like 500 plus pages. And so I thought, 200 pages, this will go by in a flash. There might be some good story here. And it was awful. It was a waste of my 200 pages. So I rated them. Oh, you want me to go with the third?
Yeah, you go with third favorite first.
Okay, my third favorite was the first book. So A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Okay.
And then my second favorite. Wait.
What'd you like about it? Well, I guess you can tell all 3 because it's.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they're all the same series.
Okay.
But my third favorite was the first book. My second favorite was the third book, and my first favorite was the second book.
Okay. Do those books happen to have names?
Yeah, the third one is called A Court of Wings and Ruin.
Not to be confused, that's your second favorite book.
My second favorite book, but is the third in the series.
Okay.
And then my first favorite book is the second book, which is A Court of Mist and Fury.
Wow, are all of them A Court of?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Who's the author for the series?
Sarah J. Maas.
All right, Sarah J. Mathis. All right. So, I guess we can go back to the third. A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Thorns and Roses, yeah.
Thorns and Roses.
Yeah.
What'd you like about it?
I liked the plot, like being set up for. Honestly, if I would have just read the first one would have been my favorite. I really did like it, but when you compare them to the other 3, it's like it was a lot of setup. Like you have to learn the characters, and there's like a good 50 pages where you're just like hearing about how hungry she is and like how annoyed she is and how pissed off she is. Like you could have totally like skimmed through some of that, It's not as juicy as the other stories.
So there's a lot of detail.
A lot of detail, a lot of setup. A lot of stuff that matters more when you get to like the second and third book, but in the first book comparatively it's like come on. Let's move on.
Yeah. Did you like the writing style of it?
Yeah.
I guess it's just overall because it's not comparing to any other author, but.
Well, I've read her books before.
Oh, okay. Well, how did this compare to like?
The first time I read her books, funny enough, I think I was like 10. So I've been reading her stuff for a really long time. She did a series called The Selection, and that was really awesome. And those were probably my favorite books when I read them. So I knew I liked her writing style. And I've had these books on my to-be-read shelf for a very long time because they're really daunting. They're massive books.
Yeah.
But I've heard good things.
Real dedication to them.
Real dedication. Well, everyone's like, you're gonna love it. You just have to get like past the fact that there's a lot of words and a lot of pages and a lot of
I
plot.
don't like when people lead with that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, no one set it up as like it was gonna be an easy read.
This is so fantastic.
Well, everyone made it like Madison's been reading these books for 2 years.
Oh, well.
The first book alone.
Oh.
So I was scared that it was gonna take me forever. But honestly, I read the second book in like 2 days, and it's like 700 pages because it was like just a quick.
You're really locked in though.
I mean, I locked in for real. Like, I got to the point where I was like, I can't sleep. I have to know what happens. That's why I rated that one so high.
Okay. Number 2 was A Court of Wings and something, maybe?
Wings and Ruin.
Wings and Ruin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And why did that get ranked number 2?
That is the third book in the series.
I think stop mentioning where the book's
Well, it matters because it's like...
The third book is the second favorite book of the year.
Yes.
And
because...
what made it so special?
Okay. Books 1 and 2 obviously lead to book 3. And when you get to 3, the way that it ended, I was kind of let down by. And so the writing style is great.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, we went through books 1 and 2 just to get to this. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're building up for this major plot thing to happen.
Yeah.
And then when it gets to it, it's over in like 30 pages.
So then why did they get the number 2 spot?
Like, why did it beat out the first one?
Yeah.
Because I was so glad I got to know how like that piece ended. Like,
So because you got to know the ending, even though the ending was kind of like okay,
yeah,
it was just like the fact you got to know the ending.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I don't know how to explain this without like giving away major pieces of the plot, but
You want to explain, like, we should have done this from start. What's like the idea of this?
this whole book, honestly, it's the closest thing to like Game of Thrones. Like, it's very much so.
So it's like medieval. Like,
it's medieval. They're all like, there's different courts, so it's like the summer court, the spring court, autumn court, and each of the courts have different powers.
Mm-hmm.
Which usually I don't like reading these kinds of books because it's pretty dorky in my mind. But the writing style is so good, and each of the courts, like, they all have beef with each other. There's a lot of like just like family issues. And
very
so,
Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Okay.
But all the courts have special magic powers, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But then there's this wall and this really teeny tiny, if you look at their map, because there's a picture of the map, teeny tiny space, and it's where the humans can live. And it starts off the book with a human and just how they live, knowing that there's all these courts with all these magical, like, fairy people, and they don't get along. Humans and fairies do not like each other. She's a human. She's starving. They've got poverty going on here. And she kills this wolf. This happens very quickly into the book. She kills this wolf and takes the pelt back, sells the pelt, eats the stuff. Like, this wolf is going to give them a lot of money, and it's going to give them, like,
nutrients.
So
and get through.
The pelt alone, she's like, I got paid a lot of money for. Like, this is a saving grace for her. She was, like, feeling guilty when she did it, and she felt weird when she was like, why is this wolf in the woods? This shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of the fairies comes to her house, a wolf fairy, and he's like, you killed my best friend. You have to, you owe me now. So you have to come back to the court with me. Because she owes him. She took a life, so she owes her own. So the whole thing is this human going into the fairylands, which is not supposed to happen. And she has to leave her family. And, like, it's this whole thing of, like, she's now living in these fairylands. And a lot of stuff happened. It's just a really good book. But then...
I just don't talk about it too much.
I'm not going to talk about it too much.
But, like, so that sets the scene for, like, what happened.
That sets the scene, and, like, there's just, like, a lot of different, like, curses and twists that happen throughout. And so, even though it's a really long book, it felt like I was reading, like, 3 different books within it. Like, it wasn't this long, drawn-out thing.
Is it only from her point of view?
No.
Okay, so there's, like, other characters that you're reading about.
You're reading about other characters. The first book, I don't think you get to see anyone else's point of view. But the second, third, and fourth all have different point of views.
So it brings in, like, more
main
people.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's like a lot of like side plots that happen.
Yeah. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on, so I was never like, oh my gosh, I need to read another 100 pages to figure out what happens with this girl. Because it was like, wait, what just happened to her?
Mm-hmm.
Oh crap, I forgot that thing was happening. Like, it very much so felt like a Game of Thrones episode.
Sounds like Game of Thrones, but just like
Varies.
changing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of beef, though. And I like some tea.
So number 1.
Yeah.
The Court of Misery.
Mist and Fury. Yeah, that's the second book in the series. Honestly, out of
Why was the second?
the second
What
book,
was the logic behind this order?
like which one I would read again, because usually I don't reread a book.
Yeah.
And
You think the second book in the series was
the
like,
best
I'll
book.
read it again?
Yes. And honestly, after reading the second book, I'm committed to know why there's 3 other books after that.
Mm.
Like,
So what made the second book so good then?
without giving too much away, it really dives into like a specific curse that I was most interested from the first book.
So like one of the plots
One of
really
the plots.
took off.
I mean, it shoots up.
Continuing on.
Anyway, the second book had the biggest side plot that I was interested in.
Mm-hmm. So the side plot really became active, and is that what the whole book's basically about, or is it just like a major?
It's a major part.
So it shifts from like being this like side thing to like the main focus of what's happening. Okay.
So that was really interesting, and it was the thing it had the characters I was most dedicated for.
Mm.
Like.
So like the favorite people from
my favorite people from the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I got to really learn why they were even in the books, because the first book, you're like, why the heck are they here?
Yeah.
And then the second book, it's all about that person, and I'm like, oh, I'm obsessed with you, and I'm so glad I got to hear what happened to this person.
Okay.
You know?
That's interesting.
Yeah. And I feel like that one out of all of them, too, has, like, the most, like romance stuff, too.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it was just really well written.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting series. It's interesting to read a whole series almost. And
yeah.
Oh, you got one more book?
I'm on the last one right now.
Oh, you got the last one.
Yeah. And for not reading it all during the year, and then reading at the very end of the year.
Almost got through the whole series in a month.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Pretty dedicated, especially because Madison's still on book 1.
Yeah, really lapped her big time.
Yeah. I told her she's got to get through the first one. Like, I know people said that, and it really deterred me from reading, but it's, once you get through the first one, it's worth reading.
So, let's talk about this. When you're reading, are you in the spectrum? Are you a mind is blank person, seeing black? Are you a kind of movie going on real, or where, like, in between?
I definitely think I watch a movie, but not, I don't know if this is something anyone else talked about, but when I watch it, things can shift really quickly. So, like, if the character is supposed to be wearing a green dress, but I want her to wear a blue one, in certain scenes I'll see her wearing green because I know that's what she's supposed to do, but she'll also wear blue.
So you're envisioning, like, a character.
Yeah, but I can watch it however I want.
Do you make up the character as you?
They're all people I know.
So it's people. So it's imagery. You have an idea. Like,
I'm not just like pulling them out of thin air.
So the scenes in like the book.
Yeah.
Are you like recalling kind of a place that resembles what's going on, or are you making a whole new scene like out of your mind?
Usually it's a whole new place, unless they say like the place is St. John. Then I can picture that because I've been there.
So yeah, if it's like a specific place, you.
Yeah, if
you
it's somewhere
picture
I
that.
know where it is and I've been there, sure. Or if I've watched it on TV, sure. But like this book, I've never been to a fairyland. I've never been to these people's house. They really don't tell you enough about what their house looks like either, in my opinion. There's some things that they tell you that there's like a garden, and there's this, and there's that, and there's woods. But to me, I picture it different than what.
And when you're saying picture, what does that mean to you? Like how would you describe that to someone? Is it like I'm closing my eyes and I'm seeing like an apple, or is it like I'm reading and then like kind of the back of your mind is playing out?
No, I don't know how to really explain it. It's almost like both. Like, Like when I read, I don't really know if I see words.
Like it's almost to where it's visually like in front of you.
Yeah, like my whole. It's not like just a screen. Like the whole thing sees it.
So you become literally like kind of immersed.
Yeah.
In the, like almost where like if you're holding like a play under it and the scene around it's like what's going on.
Sometimes. I don't know. It really depends on what it is because I feel like again, like if I go back to if it's like a book I've been to the place. If it's St. John, I'm the one walking.
So you take the point of view of like the character.
If I know the place.
So if you don't know the place, are you
I'm
like
watching a movie then.
Okay, so you like watching the scene happen. Mm-hmm. You're not necessarily at the character.
I'm not above it though. Like it's like if you were watching a movie, like when you watch Game of Thrones, you're looking at it this way.
Well, okay, yes. Like you're a third party.
I am a third party, but I'm not above it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Unless, again, like I said, unless I've been there. And then I feel like I walk around and see it.
Do you also skip, like, when you're reading?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty bad. It's worse when I, like if I were to read that Betty White book, even though I'm not Betty White, obviously, I can see the things as her.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't feel like watching a movie or watching a documentary to me. And especially with like George Bush's book, which I will stand by as one of the best books. I like feel like I'm like watching like news clips as he's talking about him, but I'm also him. Like he'll talk about different like life events, like he talks about Katrina, and so I feel like I'm seeing like news flashes of Katrina, but I am him.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But again, like I said, if I don't like how it's going, or I don't like what they're talking, like I don't like that the character's wearing a blue dress and I want her to wear green.
Yeah.
She'll be wearing green, but she can also wear blue.
So you'll just see it how you...
how I want.
That's interesting.
So sometimes it's foggy, like I don't remember details as well. Like if someone's like, oh, do you remember that scene where she, you know, jumped off the cliff? I'm like, it didn't look like that to me, you know?
Yeah. So it's more like the fine details kind of like...
They get a little blurry. If it's what I wanted or what the author wrote. But I think that goes back to sometimes I skim, you know?
Yeah.
So if that's not a make or break moment...
You don't really like pick up on it?
No. I pick up what I want to pick up.
Well,
but I think that's why I like reading.
That's the great part about it. You can do it however you want to.
Yeah.
All right.
So what are your 30 books?
Wow. Thank you for asking.
Wow, you really wrote a lot.
Well, I had to write down what I was thinking at the time.
You didn't want to just freeball it?
No, I'm going to, because I don't remember what I wrote about each one, but I couldn't remember what order I put them in.
So what's number 3?
All right, number 3 for me was Mindset, The New Psychology of Success by Carol Gugri. I don't know how to say her last name.
Okay.
Starts with a D.
Using that in your face.
No one said it.
Okay. Colonel D.
There's no setup for it.
It's fine, whatever.
What did I like about it? So what it talks about is kind of, the main focus is thinking about life between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset, with a growth mindset approaching problems with the idea of I can build on this, versus a fixed mindset being something that's like, I was only given this capability, I can never exceed that. So she talks about a lot of like how in relationships, or how in school, how in career, how those all play out. And I thought it was pretty good writing. For the most part, it's interesting on how she kind of frames things. And she also, at the end of each chapter, she has like a list of questions on like things to think about, which was, it's not like out of the normal, but it was overall just like a good reflection book, because I think it's very easily to get like rutted into like a fixed mindset of that, like I'm only can do this, and not approaching things with like so much of a growth idea. So I thought that was That was interesting. I thought it was good. I also did not have many 5-star books this year, so I made the list pretty easily. But overall, I'd say it's good. I'd recommend it.
Okay.
Number two and one were pretty close. They were by far the best.
Okay.
Not gonna ask any follow-up questions.
I'm curious. Like, why didn't you have that many 5-star reviews? Like, did you read books that you just didn't like, or did you?
I just read a lot of books I thought were like good. I didn't think any of them were like exceptional to where I was
Did you
like
not stick to like a genre or something that would be fun? Like what?
No, I read a lot of like nonfiction books. That's not like. I'm trying to think of all
would
the books.
you typically rank those as 5 stars though? Like, is there something that would give you a 5-star?
Well,
like
the 1 and 2 are also like nonfiction books.
Well, I'm not saying that, but like, if you ask me to read these football books, I can go ahead and tell you they're not getting my 5-star review because I don't really want to read that, So is it like you're reading books that it's like you feel like you should read versus books you want to read? Like, are you reading for like knowledge versus fun?
I'd say it's a mix.
Okay.
Like, I had one 5-star book that was, what was it?
Like, did nothing surprise you?
What do you mean?
Like, did you open a book and be like, this is not going to have a 5-star, there's no way? Or is it like...
No, I approach every book with like...
I hope it's 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
I approach it more of like... It comes from a curiosity point if I'm reading a book.
Okay.
It's not... I don't think most of the time it's not like I should read this. It's more like I'm interested and then the writer will either lose me or kind of grab my attention.
Gotcha.
Writing style is the biggest thing for me. On like what separate... Like a 5 and a 4 and a 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like a 3 to me is something that's okay.
Yeah.
And a 4 is like it's good. To get a 5 is like pretty hard.
I guess I don't really rank books like that in my head. Like, to me, I either really loved it or I just would never read it again, never recommend it.
To like 5, I'm like, you should really go read this.
Okay.
4 is like, it's good. Like, I'm not going to tell you, like,
Don't
you
spend your
have
money
to
on
go read this.
Okay.
But if you want it, I'll give it to you to go read,
Okay.
3 is like, I probably,
It's never going to come up in conversation.
I'm not really going to bring it up unless someone brings it up. I'll probably be like, okay.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, like, there was 5s. Well, I don't think I had that many, to be honest. There's a lot of 4s that were, like, good. They just weren't great.
Okay.
Going back to number 2. Number 2 was A Bold Return to Giving a Damn by Will Harris. I found this very interesting. So it's about farming and how he changed his farm from an industrial style farm to a regenerative farm.
Okay.
And what that is industrial farming is kind of what you classically think of if you think of like a bunch of cattle packed into the smallest area possible, just trying to get the most production out of the livestock. Regenerative farming is this like open space idea of where you're giving animals room to graze, you're growing plants in the areas. It's like an ecosystem of what you'd think of as like, when you thought of a farm as like a kid, and it's like this happy place where like things are thriving.
Yeah.
That's more of the idea. So I thought that was a unique story.
Okay.
And it's very much in his like voice, it seems, because I've seen him talk about it before. And so like, when I was reading it as like his voice talking to me, and his style matched how he talked, so it wasn't like, it didn't seem like a ghost written like thing.
Sure.
Which I find that very, like, I think that's a very big part.
Yeah.
Like, some biographies you're like, eh.
Did you rate this?
Yeah, like, how much were you really doing on this?
Yeah.
This seemed very much, I think it's something, I think everyone should read it because you should know where your food comes from to get an idea. And otherwise you don't really talk about like what actually goes into like, why should I buy this like more expensive meat?
Mm-hmm.
And I think he highlights a very good reason. And I also appreciate that he highlights at the end of that, like, this comes down to your wallets and trying to kind of, at some point you make a health conscious decision, but at the same time he understands that this is like an affordability problem. And so, like, trying to figure out how do you make this a nationwide thing. He doesn't necessarily, he admits that he doesn't have a solution. And I find that, like,
striking. Yeah.
I find it striking. I also like that it's straightforward. It's not like he's trying to beat around the bush and, like, be like, oh, you should just do this because you should be healthy.
You should do it.
You know? So I appreciate his, like, honesty throughout the book.
Does he talk about, like, if something tastes different if it's been?
He doesn't like, sort of. He touches on it.
Like, would it taste different?
So, I would say texture-wise.
Okay, like based off what they're eating.
Yeah, I would say texture and taste to a degree. So, like, the cattle is going to be, like, fattier from an industrial side of that they're being stuck in this frame and just fed to obesity. So you're getting more, like, the ripples in, like, a steak.
Yeah.
Versus this is more lean cut. It's going to be kind of stronger because you're moving around. And the taste, I think taste is kind of hard to describe. Taste is probably just something you have to taste for yourself.
Sure.
Because I'm not going to say, it's not gamey. Like, you know, like some,
yeah.
It's not that. But it's not like you're fatty. It's just not what you're used to in a sense.
I'm just curious because I feel like that would be something that would convince people. Because I feel like when you go to like a steak restaurant, it's like which one's going to taste the best.
Yeah.
You know? So I feel like that would be something that would be interesting to see the difference of. Like if people did like a blind taste test, could you tell which one's which?
Well, if you ever go to the, I think it's on the coastal part of Georgia, I believe, they have a cafe that he opened that's all food from, or all products from their farm.
We should go. It's not far.
Well, it's on like the other side of Georgia, but anyways.
We can still go. It'd be pretty Georgia.
Cool. It'd be pretty interesting.
I almost just thought that Georgia was Alabama. I almost just said, what's the other like, how do you get to the coast of Georgia? So that's at the very bottom. That's literally just what came out of my mouth. Georgia's below us. Not.
Yeah, not the side.
Yeah. Cool. I feel like that would be interesting.
Yeah, so interesting guy. Pretty cool concept.
Cool.
Anyways.
Why'd that beat the first or the last one?
So I thought it was just more
these
like...
are top two. Like, these are the only 2 5-star you gave this year. It was 2 and 1.
I'm pretty sure there were 2. I think I gave Mindset a 5-star.
Okay.
Maybe I gave it a 4-star.
But it's very clear that the second and
but
first
1 and 2 were clear, like, these
clear
are very
5
good
stars.
books. I would recommend to people.
Okay.
That's why I'm talking about them.
I hear that.
Some of the other books, like, I don't think anyone cares about, like, what did I read? Mobility Access. I thought it was interesting, but that's from, like...
Well, would that be your 5-star?
No, I think that was also a 4.
Okay.
But, like, to me, that would probably beat out Mindset, but I think Mindset more, like... Those were very close.
Okay.
To me, Mindset was just a better overall book to, like, for this.
See, that's just so interesting that you think about it like that. Because in my mind, I'm like, I'm picking the favorite. Like, I'm not picking...
Well, when they were so close, I was just kind of like, what's the beating like?
I know, but the fact that you're even thinking about it from the perspective of, like, would someone else...
Well, I'm like, what would I tell someone to read? I'm like, unless you care deeply about urban planning, I don't think you're going to be interested in this book. Sure. Mindset, though, you might be interested in. But I think Mindset's getting a lot more airtime than it needs.
Good to know. All right, what's the number 1?
It was Mother of God by Paul Rosalie.
Okay.
Once again, heard this guy talking, and he went and lived in the Amazon at like 17 or 18, pretty young. He just
for fun?
Not really. It's like he grew up and just started loving like the outdoors and was really passionate about it. And so he started to learn about like the deforestation in the Amazon, and so he became really like motivated to go see it.
Gotcha.
It kind of seems a lot of it was almost out of like a fear sense of that it's going to be just
gone,
cut down and gone. And so he went down there around young adulthood, and he went on this trip along the Amazon River, and he met these people, and he just tells the stories of what's like the things he does of having a I think it was an anteater, raising a little anteater, walking around with animals and monkeys going past you, and all the life aspects that's going on there. That I thought it was really interesting to hear about as something just like totally different. And it was also, once again, it seemed very much in his style, like seemed like how he talked.
Yeah.
And so that kind of mixture of having this like extremely interesting life of you're doing something, and now he leads like the Amazon project to try to like protect and buy back acres from timber cutters, and so they're working with them, and he talks about experiences like first running into them and all this stuff, and it's just a lot of like really kind of breathtaking stories that he talks about.
Why'd that win?
I just thought it was the most interesting out of all of them. Like, it really grabbed my...
Like, you've never read anything like that?
Yeah, I think the
uniqueness.
Yeah, like the absolute... Yeah, the uniqueness of it was, to me...
Not many people live in the Amazon, right?
Yeah. And so that really grabbed my interest and put it at number 1. So, yeah.
When you read, what do you...
I feel like I've already answered this question so many times throughout this.
Oh, okay, then I don't need to ask.
I'll tell it again.
Well, I know the answer.
Not to cut you off.
Well, I'm curious if anyone's asked you, because the way you're describing your favorite books, it almost sounds like you're hearing them.
Kind of, yeah.
So I feel like that goes back to like when you... Like,
I think it's more of an auditory sense almost.
That's what I'm saying, but like I think it's helpful that you've heard their voice before.
I think that helps. I think any real world information I can pull from them,
that helps.
That helps, whether it's being able to see their face or like hearing them.
Okay.
I think that really helps me like get into like where I'm not seeing them, but I can kind of like picture them there.
You have something to go off of.
Yeah, having something to go off of is the biggest help.
Okay, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
I was just curious because I feel like we've never talked about that angle of it. Like, do you hear it?
I think to an extent, yes.
Because you're seeing the words versus seeing the picture. So if you're hearing the words too from their voice versus just listening to your own voice, I can't imagine reading a book and hearing my own voice the whole time. I think that would drive me crazy.
Yeah, if I can like hear someone else's voice, it helps quite a bit. I think it's like...
Because like, can you listen to an audiobook?
No.
I can't either. Some people do, and I can't do it. Like, Madison and Grace both do that, and I'm like...
I'll zone out to an audiobook.
Same.
It's just not like, I can't pay attention to it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Funsies. Alright.
I'm going to read more next year.
Cool, 2025. Yeah, new goal.
Mm-hmm.
Set it up for 2025.
More than 4 books.
Yeah.